Hello, everybody. It is Thursday night, Thanksgiving. So happy Thanksgiving to everyone. I hope whatever you ended up doing today, either you had a great day, either by yourself or with family or whatever, and you had a good day. And this is just going to be a hangout. I'm not doing a sale tonight. So this is Trusty's Thanksgiving Orphans live chat. So if you were an orphan today, didn't have any place else to go, or chose not to go anywhere, because there is benefit and merit to that. If you didn't end up going anywhere, welcome. If you did go somewhere and you are now home from your family and recovering from a day of trauma, welcome to you too. Just going to kind of hang out. We'll see what happens. We're just going to chat, see who we've got in the chat this evening, see who our fellow orphans are. We got Book Bewitched claiming right out that she is an orphan today. So we are welcoming all orphans. And thanks so much, Book, for being in here. Juanita said that she was looking forward to this all day. I now feel like the bar has been set relatively high. So I hope I meet your expectations, Juanita. But welcome. And glad people were looking forward to something other than food, other than family, other than whatever. We'll see. Jan has joined us today, so thanks for Jan coming in. Okay, we got Canadians. So Canadians are kind of wondering, why are you people celebrating anything? Today's not Thanksgiving, because I think you guys have your Thanksgiving some other point. So welcome, and I think you're thankful for something different than we are. Do you have Thanksgiving? Actually, now that I say that, but I want to say there is a Thanksgiving or something like that. So welcome, Tim. Glad you could join us. And I saw this question earlier for Nate. Being in another country. And I thought it was actually kind of interesting. Since you don't celebrate Thanksgiving, do you in Canada, Tim, do you celebrate Black Friday? I know that's really a celebration, but like, is Black Friday a thing? Is that kind of when the Christmas shopping season begins? Or do you have a different time that it begins being in Canada, since Thanksgiving is, just a Thursday? Susan joining us, Tiger coming in. Thanks so much. So many orphans joining today. Chad coming in from Maryland. Happy Thanksgiving to you as well, Chad. Jerry coming in, and Claudia. We got Angela, Dawn, another Terper coming in. Swamp Picker joining in, another orphan. Beth coming in, Carolina Princess. She had a little chat going on today on her channel. She did it where people were dropping in. I think the topic on Beth's channel was it Beth? Or no, I guess it was Miss Pamela, that they were staying in their pajamas all day. So I was 100% on board with that. I put on a shirt. I was wearing a shirt, but I was wearing a pajama shirt. I did put on a shirt, and I was trying to come up with a fun Thanksgiving themed shirt. I don't have a Thanksgiving themed shirt. Don't have anything with turkeys on it. So I picked something that had seafood on it. So, in the idea of food, some people like oyster stuffing. I don't know if I've got oysters on here, but we got a big lobster. Got a big lobster going on right there. And I still have my pajama bottoms on. So depending on how the evening goes, you might get to see them. So that was Beth was having her chat earlier. Karen's joining us in. Carrie's coming in from Texas. And Brian coming in from Chicagoland after being with the family. Now, yep, there you go. You're with the family all day, and then you have to come home, and then you have to relax. So Nate is joining us in the chat. So also wondering why, because in Nate's world, it's not even Thursday. It's already Friday. So he doesn't know what we're celebrating Thanksgiving Thursday. Sharon has joined in. And, okay, Dawn, you can't be an orphan when you have, what, are we at 22 dogs that are surrounding you? But yeah, a lot of people are getting the booster, and it seems like people are getting more. I'm hearing a lot more about the side effects of the booster than some people were talking about when they got the first one. I'm not sure what that's all about. But I know that Katie was sidelined by that for a while by her booster shot. So I hope you're feeling better, and you are an orphan from humans, but I'm sure your dogs are keeping you company and keeping you warm if you're all sitting on the couch. And thanks for joining in. So we got Prairie Stone Collectibles. Prairie State is where I buy my packaging material from. Empty. We got Maria coming in from Empty Nesting too. So we got a Buckeye in the house. And Sheila Fruman, she commented earlier that she was also an orphan for the day, so she was looking forward to this. Let's see. Rebecca coming in from Maine. So we've got an orphan on the East Coast. Let's see. Michelle coming in, Emancipation 300. She was also on Beth's chat earlier tonight. Mickey, thrifting in the holler, not an orphan, but stressed out and exhausted. And that's it. That's what I feel like in some cases what ends up happening. And I'm really reevaluating a lot of things. If you follow Daniel at, I want to say Kitschy is me, but that's not it. Tacky is me. I knew something like that. Tacky is me. He actually did a video a week or maybe 2 weeks ago now. And he actually was talking about how he just was not feeling Christmas and he was not wanting to decorate for Christmas. And I guess he got a little bit of pushback on it. So I had missed that video, but I caught him talking about it later. And hey, everyone needs to do what gives their own mental health and their own sanity. And I look at this is a holiday for me for my full-time job. So I get these days off. Why do I want to be stressed? So and for many people, spending your day with your family is not stressful. I'm not in that camp. So I spent yesterday with my daughter, had a wonderful time. We made pumpkin bread. We decorated the tree. We got a lot of my Christmas stuff out. Got my piano is now decorated. One of my favorite things to do at Christmas time is decorate my stoneware and my piano. So I'm doing the things that bring me joy and that I enjoyed. And even the pumpkin bread, she wanted to make it, the bulk of it. She did most of the work and I was trying to be supportive, trying to be helpful, but I kept you don't pack the flour, even like little things like that. It was trying not to be stressful. So, you got to find where that joy is, or at least where the non-stress is. And for me, hey, people were like, oh, I'm so sorry you're alone. I'm so sorry you're not going for Thanksgiving. No. Do not be sorry for me, because in most cases, I'm probably going to feel sorry for you because you spent time with your family. And if you spent time with my family, you would feel sorry for me. So we are all good. We got Jeannie coming in for Chicago Lady, another local coming in. Catherine Young coming in. Okay, so Catherine Young is she's not doing a Black Friday sale because she does her stuff on the Saturdays. So I think I'm going to be allowed to do this. And if not, sorry, Catherine. But Catherine does she does pre-recorded sales. So she kind of does a drop sale on Saturday mornings, 6 a.m. Central. So she's basically insane. But probably not a lot of competition at that time. So she's doing a drop sale, and she is running kind of a cool Thanksgiving big shopping special that if you drop a special code in the chat when you claim an item, you get 20% off the item. So I will not tell you what that code is, just in case she does not want me broadcasting that. Because she's not including it in the video. It's kind of one of those secret things you need to know about. Go in, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, and get a 20% discount. So if Catherine wants to divulge that, she can put it in the chat and I will show it later. But make sure you're subscribed to Catherine Young and watching some of her stuff that she's got coming up this Saturday. We got Sam coming in. Parents left a couple hours ago, so relaxing. So you and I needed to ask, is it Basil or Basil? Sam has a new cat. Stud with a stash has a cat. And I know it's Basil or Basil, so I'm not sure if we're going British or if we're going herbs. So hopefully your cat is spending time with you. Fluffy Otter, one of the best names in the system here. I think I said hi to Carrie. Let's see, Judy. I don't think I said hi to Judy. So hey, Judy, thanks for coming in. And LJ. I don't think I said hi to LJ, coming in from Minnesota. And let's see. Pat Robinson. I don't think I said hi to Pat. Oh, we got another Canadian wondering what's all the fuss is about Thanksgiving. So thanks, Cheryl, for joining us from Canada. And let's see. Oh, we got Nancy coming in from Pennsylvania. Mary coming in from New York. And let's see. I think I said hi to Angela. So let's see. Is Nancy going to have... Not quite in Orphans, but son is at work until 10. And Nancy, let me know if you're doing a sale or chat tonight. I can't remember if I saw your channel, if you've got anything planned for this evening. I know, Beth normally has her sale before mine, and so she didn't end up doing a sale today. But I think I saw Michelle at Comfy Cozy Living. I think she did do a sale. So some people are kind of like doing status quo, and other people are changing, shifting things up. Kim Z coming in, another Buckeye coming in. And let's see. I always feel bad if I miss somebody when I'm trying to do this, but the chat keeps jumping. I think I said hi to Claudia, but I don't remember. And now I'm like going for names. I'm missing the chat. So Nancy is tired. Shearing sheep. Bah. I love when, autocorrect changes it to some word that makes no sense. So I'm feeling there's something in there. Oh, we got Scott coming in the house. Escape to the basement. Yep, there's a lot of escaping going on. I know Scott loves spending time with his mother, his family. So I'm sure he's not an orphan in any way. But yes, sometimes you just want to get away. And let's see. Christina joining in, another Canadian, wondering again what all the fuss is. Karen's kind of orphaned, staying away from people. Oh, just can't shake the flu. Okay, that's bad. Yeah, when my daughter came home from school, she was kind of recovering from a little bit of a cold. I had a little bit of a cold, and it's like you just have to tell everyone it's true. No, it's not COVID. It's just a freaking cold. It is that time of year. Oh, so we are going British. Well, wait, why is Prairie Stone answering the question? Oh, we're going herby. All right, so we're going with basil, I'm assuming, unless people go British with their herbs. Playing the pump organ. Let's see. M. Rob joining in. Nice place to be. No stress. That's what this is all about. This is no stress. I don't want stress in my sales. I don't want drama. I want everyone to be having fun. And when this stops being fun, I stop doing it. So this was one, like, I could have done a sale, but it's like, actually, I'm kind of caught up for the first time in a long time. I kind of like, I'm going to enjoy this feeling for a little while. And with the holiday, it's just one of those cases that I don't want people being stressed. Like, oh, am I going to miss the sale, or am I going to miss out on something? Because people think I sell the Mona Lisa, but I do not. So thank you so much for joining. Okay, so Catherine is owning it up. She is giving us the code word. So the secret code is ho, ho, ho. So either Minnesota has a bunch of hoes. All right, I shouldn't have said that. So being in the Santa spirit, ho, 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 you get a 20% discount with some of the items that she will be having in her live sale, which again it's not a live sale, her drop sale that will go live at 6 a.m. Central, so 7 a.m. Eastern. So here morning, and then she actually gave a tip, which I'd never heard this before. I have to say I haven't watched a lot of the pre-recorded sales. I don't watch a lot of the sales. But the pre-recorded sale, she said, if you do a pre-recorded sale and you want to try and make sure you grab something, you can watch the YouTube video at double speed, so you can get to the next items faster than people who are just watching it at the normal speed. I think that's brilliant. And I'm sure, Catherine, you're not the person that invented that concept, but the fact that you were promoting it, I love that. I don't know. It's something I think I should have thought of, but I love that idea that you just kind of like, yep, hate that item. This would be me. I wouldn't be doing a double speed. I'm like, oh, that's ugly. Yeah, hate that. That's stupid. Oh, broken. Ooh, I like that one. And so I'm, picking something up 20 minutes into the video. So it's a great tip. So ho, ho, ho gets 20% off of Catherine's purchases. Nancy's coming in. I don't think I saw her. Okay. Scott, the master of all things deco and Depression era glass, is not allowed to wash the dishes. Okay, so I think we have a little bit of a controlling mother if you are not trusted to wash dishes. I will say, I believe this yesterday alone, I believe I broke 3 different things, and I became wondering, am I getting old? What am I doing? I broke a glass ornament, I broke a figurine, and I broke... I think I want to say I broke another ornament, but the glass one was it was modern, but it was one of the glass, like the ball ornament. So that thing dropped. It went everywhere. And of course, my daughter, ever so helpful, she's like, and you don't have a vacuum cleaner. I'm like, yes, thank you for pointing that out. So we had fun. Let's see. Okay, so Nancy's not having she's having a chat too. So you guys can just chat chat people's ears off. And have some good times on the chats tonight. Let's see. Oh, we got somebody new. Third Act Vintage Upcycler. Hello from Kansas. I was just in Kansas a couple weeks ago. I'm orphaned for over 21 years, but have many kids and grandkids, so not alone. Well, that is a key. And at no point do I ever want orphan to be, I'm not trying to mean anything or disparage, where I'm not trying to find the Oliver Twists of the world. This is just a little jokey way of saying, in some cases, people have family, but they're not local, or they, health reasons, they couldn't spend time because of COVID. Last year that was an issue as well. So yeah, it was really just the people that had no place else to go. You always have a place here. So thanks so much for joining Third Act Vintage Upcycler. It's great to have somebody new in the chat. Let's see. So let's see. We're talking about Michelle. Oh, so she still has some stuff on her. So you can catch her replay. Well, that's good. All right. So I think no, I'm not caught up. We got LD Mickelson. I saw Mickelson in another chat, and so I don't know what LD stands for. So I do not know if LD Mickelson is male or female or non-specific. So they are welcome here in any case. And there's another Kansas. I think I said hi to Kansas Picker, but we got our two Kansans, the Sunflower State. I was just there. I should know this. I think your interstate sign has a big sunflower around it. So I'm going to go with sunflower. Let's see. Oh, we got Morgan, another new name for me. Morgan Lepre. Oh, we got Katie. And Katie's not only in the chat, she's here.
Hi, guys.
Hey,
Happy
Katie.
Thanksgiving.
Wasn't sure if Katie was going to be able to join me tonight because she is, she gets a day off too from being in my live sales. So if I said if she wanted to just hang out on her own and spend time with Louie and a cone, she was welcome to do so. But she has joined us, so welcome.
Well, I wouldn't miss this for the world, Patrick. I love your sales and being part of your lives. They're always so fun.
Well, thank you. So we won't be doing any selling. I will actually show a couple things that'll go live on eBay tonight that'll end next week, but I won't be selling anything live tonight. The one thing I'm actually going to be doing, and I was hoping you'd be able to join me because I think this will be fun. I got another Trusty Traveler.
Oh,
I'm now
back.
I'm now up to 12. And the last one that I got was dated November 15th. So I'm thinking that the ones that are missing are probably missing forever. So one of the things I'm going to do to this evening is I'm going to open live on air. I'm going to open the Trusty Travelers to see what I have received. So, and then those will get up in I'll probably go on to an eBay auction at some point because those are the last. I have a couple other things that'll go live that are still pending for the Doxy fundraiser. I had a couple people not pay their invoice from the fundraiser, so I have to resell some of their stuff. It's dragging out a little bit longer than I would like, but I want to make sure we're wrapped up so I can get the check to Dawn at JOMDR, get that by the end of the year so we get it all wrapped up. So,
and I see Nancy's asking if you're still taking donations. I don't think you are, Patrick.
No. Cash donations are always welcome. Those can go directly to JOMDR, but I will not start taking physical donations until the end of next summer. I just don't have the place to store it. Some people were giving me things early and things got broken because I was trying to store them and I felt bad about that. And I'm going to have to make some changes for next year because this got too big and too difficult to manage. When I also considered when I started it last year, during COVID, I wasn't traveling. My job is traveling salesman. So COVID kind of changed my job title and I could do all of this and I could focus on the fundraiser and it was all fantastic. Well, then I jumped to this year and it's kind of, we were making up for not traveling by traveling double the amount. And suddenly I was trying to do my full-time job with all the travel and do my regular sales stuff and the fundraiser. And things were falling through the cracks. I mean, literally a couple of the items I'm selling tonight were found in a box after the fundraiser ended. I was moving things around like, I can finally enter my office again. And all of a sudden I'm like, what's this?
Oh no, more boxes.
I almost threw up. Like, oh my God, I have more stuff. So so we'll be changing. So donations of physical items are no longer being accepted at this point. Because I'm not going to be doing another fundraiser till next November. So I will put out announcements and I may have to change the way those are going.
And Nate was teasing me. He says I'm still hoarding all of the Trusty Travelers and not sending them back. I promise I've sent my boxes out.
Carrie broke a mug. And it happens. It's one of those cases. I hate it for anything to be rare. And I certainly don't want it to be something that was like, I did break something that was donated for the fundraiser. So, there was $20 in out of my pocket that I bought it, so it could go to the fundraiser because I want to make sure that all of that actually goes together. Oh, and okay. So Tia Fane was one of the winners from the fundraiser. So he has already received 3 of his mystery boxes. So we ended up because of a very odd accounting error, we had 9 winners of the grand prize, which each got 5 mystery boxes. Tim was one of them. He received the Canadian boxes. And then we inadvertently discovered we had another Canadian winner. So we had 2 Canadian winners. So that's great, Tim, that you've already gotten 3. And I think one of yours, 4 of yours were coming from Canada, and your 5th was actually coming from the UK. So that one might take a little bit longer. I don't think I said hi to Bree. So Bree has joined us.
Hi, Bree. Hi, everyone in the chat.
Edward has joined us. Hey, El Unico Uno Thrifter Treasures. One of the long ones that I have to read when I say it out loud. Debbie, that might be, I think that's a new one. So hi, Debbie. And let's see. Oh, Larry's joining us. Hey, Larry.
Hey, Larry, Debbie, Edward, everybody.
Suzu's orphaned too, went to a restaurant. And it's one of those cases. I just stayed home. I had ribs for a Thanksgiving dinner, and people, again, they're like, well, even if you're eating alone, you can still have turkey. But I don't want to have turkey.
Yeah, just like rogue. I made a prime rib today, so obviously I didn't have turkey either, and I was just fine.
So that's a good question for those of you who are either maybe Thanksgiving's not a big deal, or for the Canadians and they're like, what's Thanksgiving? If you don't do a big Thanksgiving turkey meal, I am curious, what do people do? Like, do you still do something special? Like I will say, I mean, somebody had recommended these ribs and I'd never had them before. So I bought them and I specifically had them tonight. So it could still be special, but they're just ribs. It wasn't anything difficult. What do other people like to have as their Thanksgiving?
Well, I saw Catherine Young earlier was in Beth's chat. And she was saying that she had a buffalo. Was it buffalo and something pizza, and it sounded really, really delicious. I'm like, more power to you, pizza on Thanksgiving. I like it.
Amelia, I don't think I said hi to Amelia. Oh, Miss Gritty Gret. I haven't seen Gritty in a while. Pam's joining us. Hey, Pam, Kiwi's Collectibles with her adorable little doggy there.
That dog is so cute. And oh yes, chicken Alfredo pizza.
And so she must. So one of the UK box actually made it to Tim. Included British candy bars, no diet this week.
British candy is the best.
Judy is joining us. Oh, Mr. and Mrs. Berkeley Girl. Katie 2.0 was the winner of the auction item for the vintage recipe box. And she made a donation. I want to say it ended up going for $76. I threw an extra recipe in there and an entire batch of vintage recipe cards just to make up for the fact she paid so much for it. But you'll have to let us know, Katie and Bob, if you end up making any of those recipes. I did include my recipe for pumpkin bread. That's what we just made yesterday. So I'll be curious if you make any of those. Bella Rose. Oh no, lost your debit card.
Oh no, that's horrible.
Not anything to be thankful for. That's not good.
No, that's a
Nancy got her Kokeshi dolls. And a committee forming on my behalf.
Nate said he would join your committee to help with the adoptions.
Oh, okay. I'm like, what? To make sure I have Thanksgiving? I don't want a committee for that. Like, I'm good. So yes. And that might be the case. I might just need to get more help. One of the ideas, and this will be one of the things I'll talk with some of the resellers, because the resellers were very, very generous this year, is in some cases maybe saying maybe I'll have them on my sale, like the night I do the live sale, but then have them ship direct. Because I had helpers the night of the fundraiser, which was absolutely wonderful. And I also had helpers to pack. But one of the things that was made a comment when the night of the fundraiser is that, I don't remember what the number was, but probably like in the 80% range, most people only bought one item, which is totally cool. That's not a problem. But the whole benefit of having it all shipped to me is then if you buy more than one item, you could combine for shipping. Well, if you were just buying something to support the fundraiser, well, then it wouldn't have mattered if you bought something from me, or if you bought something directly from Katie, or if you bought something directly from Misty. They could drop ship and you would just pay the shipping from them. So that might be something we explore next year. The fundraiser, we are over $4,000. We're approaching $4,500. For a hot minute, we were over 5,000 until I realized that I did the math wrong. And I lost like $800. Like, oops. So we're by the time we're done, hopefully with the Trusty Travelers, we will get a good jump. I got Peterson's joining in.
Welcome, Peterson.
Let's see. Now I'm trying to scan to see what people are saying. What's a Mississippi pot roast? Did I miss that?
I don't know. I don't know, but that sounds absolutely delicious.
And then this is when you randomly grab the chat, then you see vodka. It's okay. The Mississippi pot roast with vodka. I'm all good for that.
Yep,
One
that
year I
is
asked for
perfect.
meatloaf. Okay, so meatloaf was never. I never liked my mother's meatloaf, so that I would say growing up we always did the traditional, the big turkey, with the stuffing and everything, all the norm. And I did that, pretty much all the time I was married, with our daughter. We used to host Thanksgiving, and I used to make, like, for all the fact that I cannot make fudge. I used to make, all of the different dishes, and it was mine was the sport to determine how to get everything to finish at the same time. So that
Exactly.
was like my goal. How can I do this so that everything gets served hot? Turkey and prime rib. Nice.
Ooh, yeah, that prime rib I made today, if I have to brag, I have to say it was very good. It was delicious.
We had 2 votes for pizza, chicken Alfredo pizza and Pam Alfredo pizza. I do remember there was one. This is literally a flashback. I had not thought of this until I saw you guys talking about pizza. There was one Thanksgiving. It would have been when I was 13. We went to California, and we just went to Cali the one time. So I remember how old I was, and we started in San Diego, and we drove up to San Francisco, and we ended up in San Francisco on Thanksgiving Day. Now, what you have to recognize is this is the early 80s. There is no, DoorDash. There's
Yep.
no Yelp. There's nothing. And my family did not stay at concierge level hotels. So we were in this place trying to find a place to eat. And the only thing we could find was a pizza place. And so we had pizza in the hotel room for Thanksgiving, when I was 13 years old.
That's a very specific memory,
It's a
Patrick.
very specific memory. It's like not all of my memories of my childhood are bad, but many of them are just weird. So, and very specific. Oh, so ham. All right.
Honey baked ham is good. We have one here.
My mother used to make every year. We had hosted Christmas Eve for primarily my mom's side of the family. It was a fairly large family, and she would make ham and cheese sandwich bakes. So she put all the
Ooh.
stuff together, little ham sandwiches with cheese on some sort of like a Kaiser roll, if I remember correctly. And then each one was individually wrapped in foil. And then those were all just shoved in the oven for like an hour or whatever, however long it was, while she cooked everything else. And then and we had those every year. Yeah, so anytime I think of ham, that's what I think of.
Well, my dad always does 2 turkeys. So one's always fried, one's always roasted. It's a big thing. We have 2 types of stuffing. So my grandmother always makes her stuffing, and we always go over the night before to her house and have what we call a dressing party. So technically, it's dressing because it doesn't go inside the turkey, and we rip up the bread. Is basically all we do. Now, my dad hates this because he finds it to be annoying, and when he was growing up, he would have to do it. And so he'd get all of his buddies to come over to the house and help so that they could get through the loaves of bread faster so that it was over. Because dad loves the stuffing, but he doesn't want to sit there and rip up the bread. So that's BB's tradition, my grandmother. And then my stepmom makes oyster dressing, which if you've not had that, it's to die for. And so we always have like 2 types of dressing, it's a wonderful spread. So they really make some good food. And the day after Thanksgiving, we always have fried turkey and eggs. So if you have a bunch of turkey and you don't know what to do with it, I said this earlier, but fry it up in a cast iron skillet with some scrambled eggs, and you'll be eating really, really well for the next couple of days.
Okay, excellent. Well, I made enough macaroni and cheese and mashed potatoes and gravy and the rib. I had the rest of the slab of ribs, so I've got a little bit of leftovers for tomorrow, but not going too crazy. So Nancy's asking, and this is actually one of the things I needed to start talking about. So Nancy typically does, if you're not subscribed to Nancy at This Overstuffed House, she did her first live sale on my channel months ago and started doing them on her own. And she usually does them at 11 p.m. Eastern. And what is happening, if you had not heard, I haven't talked a lot about this, but I was actually cast in a new show. So I am going to be participating in a new production of Matilda the Musical. So I had originally been cast as Mr. Wormwood at a different theater's production, but it was closed because of COVID. It was rescheduled and then canceled again because of COVID. And then we did turn it into a concert version. So I did get to sing the song. Mr. Wormwood only has one song. So I did get to sing the song, and I shared that on my Instagram account. But it was kind of like, I wanted to do the role because I'm not a singer. I'm an actor who happens to sing kind of. And I basically only sing well enough because they never have enough guys in to cast in musicals. So I sing well enough. But I really feel I like acting a lot better. And so Mr. Wormwood primarily is an acting role, not a singing role. And I never got to do it. So another theater is doing that. And the rehearsals have already started. And they are doing it on Tuesdays and Thursdays, which means they're going to compete against my live sale. So I reached out to Nancy. I was traveling the last two, so it ended up not being an issue. And then, of course, tonight's Thanksgiving, so we don't have rehearsal tonight. But starting next Thursday, Nancy and I are going to swap time slots. So she is going to take my 8 p.m. Eastern slot because I will literally be in rehearsals at that time. And then I will be home in time to do her 11 p.m. slot. We're going to obviously have to stay on our own channels. So you'll have to find me at 11 p.m. on this channel. And you can, if you're looking for something to do at 8 p.m., you can go over to Nancy's at this Overstuffed House. So she's agreed to do that and was very kind and gracious about it. At no point do I own a slot. Do any of us own slots? I've been doing it for a long time, and I was one of the earlier ones. So I've been doing it at this time since May of 2020. But I don't own the slot, but I did want to continue doing it. And so it was great for her to flip with me. And then she won without even being asked. She said, let me know when your rehearsals are over and we will switch back. So that's super gracious of her. She would not have to do that. But if anyone else wants to try and, do a sale at that time, I mean, I had people always, they've asked me, you ever going to take a night off? So maybe we could do a sale. No, so it's just things happen. And so this time I just had to work something out and I don't want to go without 2 months without a sale. So it's just a good way to kind of mix up. So my sales will end up being a little bit shorter because at 11 p.m. Eastern, I'm not interested in doing a 2-hour long sale. So I'll probably be doing shorter stuff. I might try and do like some of what Catherine's doing with the drop sales. I'm doing my first drop sale. Well, I don't think it's technically my first, but I'm doing a drop sale for the first time in a long time with Beth from Carolina Princess Sweet Treats and Pretties. Beth, if you're still here, you might want to give the details, but I want to say that was Tuesday the 7th. I think that's the 7th. Tuesday the 7th. She's doing an entire day long scheduled drop sale. So
that's amazing.
So we're all being assigned slots. I have no idea when mine is. I want to say it's like 6 p.m. Eastern, which is right before I have to go to rehearsal. So I will basically drop my sale. I'll do a little bit of as a premiere, but I'm going to have to leave in the middle of my premiere. So I'm going to have to claim through the chat, just like a normal drop sale. And what I'm probably going to do is, as we were unearthing things to decorate for Christmas, I'm pulling Christmas aside that I bought. I found things that I did. I was like, I'm going to keep this for myself. Everyone loves Christmas kitsch. I should decorate with kitsch. I don't like kitsch.
It's not your style. So yes.
This is my style. Like what's behind me? This is my style. And so I have accumulated these things that have no meaning to my daughter. There's nothing that like was decorating the house or the tree as she was growing up, like that kind of stuff she wants me to keep, of course. But for all these new things, I did maybe put them on display last year for the first time. I'm going to be so I might be doing an entire drop sale just of those Christmas items. So
that's going to be amazing.
Yeah, haven't recorded it yet, but so Nancy, so starting next Thursday is when Nancy and I will swap. So this Overstuffed House, she will then be at 8 p.m. Eastern, and then I will be back at 11 p.m. Eastern.
And Nancy is fantastic, and she pointed out in the chat she's done a lot of community theater too, so she certainly understands where you are. And I think that's great. We have a great community, but you got to go live when you can. It's just we don't own the slots, as Patrick said. It just becomes hard as there's more sales and people popping up to actually get everybody in all the time.
So I jumped to that one. I wanted to back up because Michelle was commenting, which I love the idea behind this, that I don't know what the meaning behind the different nationalities of the dishes are, but I'm big into international whatever. And that's great that she had so many different dishes, maybe from family that had those different, maybe they're from the different nationalities.
That sounds delicious, Michelle.
Turkey tenderloin with a peanut sauce on rice. Ooh, that sounds pretty good. All right. I saw somebody was talking about Brussels sprouts lately.
Love Brussels sprouts.
All right.
We got to get you Patrick Brussels
I
sprouts
know.
with bacon and all the good stuff to make.
Some of the recipes you
like
and Nate were talking about did actually sound pretty good if they just weren't on Brussels sprouts. So there might be hope. I do not know what this word is.
Spatchcocked.
What is that?
It's how you cook a chicken. So it's the way you cut it and prepare it and then put it in a skillet.
So it's just so it's like, is it like butterflying? Like, is it?
Yeah,
just like,
it's similar, but it's a whole different technique.
okay. Let's see. With chicken, corn, mashed potatoes. Oh, they're going to wedding. Oh, a Friday wedding. Oh, that's a kind of interesting use on time. Tiger's volunteering for my committee. Let's see. Brian was one of the people that helped with packing. I believe I trained him well. Cheese pizza. Cheese pizza, awesome. Let's see. Oh, Beth has an idea for next year. I will take all ideas. And there we go. A spatchcock, because book asks the same question. Spatchcock is a way to kind of splay a chicken open and cook it. Interesting. Okay, I've just never heard of that. It's a fun word.
It's a very fun word.
And that's also what happens sometimes too, Pat. I remember my dad was a cop for 30 years. So in some cases we had to change our Thanksgiving. If that was when he was having to work, that was when he had to work. Like you're a cop, you don't take the day off. So it happens. So you enjoy your turkey dinner day tomorrow. Lori came in. I don't think I said hi to Lori. I might have said hi. I don't remember. I don't think I said hi to Abby, Cozy Curated Cottage. So hello, welcome.
Hi, Abby and Lori.
Pizza's next week for Nancy. Oh, pizza place is closed. That's too bad.
I love a good pizza. I'm still dreaming about that pizza I had in New York. That was so delicious.
All right. I am not mastering any Jell-O molds, anything. That is Katie's territory. So I'll ask Katie, because you and Jamie have a video challenge coming up. Is that going to involve Jell-O?
Actually, it is, Patrick, and I've picked my recipe already. So you guys are going to get a chance to hear it here. But I have decided that I'm going to make blue cheese Jell-O. So
I'm sorry, you're making what?
Blue cheese Jell-O. So let me show you the recipe.
I love blue cheese.
I do too. So I have hope.
Way to ruin it.
It also is very bizarre. So this is the blue cheese deluxe mold. And the collaboration that Jamie and I are hosting is an open collaboration. So you guys can be involved. You can post a photo on Instagram, or you can do that through a video. You can make a really good recipe or a really nasty recipe. And then the whole point of the video is to cook it and try it on the video and then share it with us. So all the videos will come live on Monday, this coming Monday at 7 p.m. And we'll kind of have a virtual Thanksgiving, which is fun. But what's in this Jell-O recipe that I find really interesting is it has lemon Jell-O, cold water, white wine, sour cream, blue cheese, and red apples. So, yep, that is what is in this Jell-O mold. So we are going to see if it's any good. Now I have hope because I like blue cheese a whole lot.
And lemons and apples, I can see going
lemons and apples.
I don't know how that blue cheese is gonna fit in there. That's interesting.
I don't know. So the Jell-O is kind of sweet. It might pair well with the blue cheese. Now, I love digestive crackers or biscuits. They're like a sweet biscuit you get from England. You can get them with chocolate or without. I get them without the chocolate and put blue cheese melted on top and honey, and it's really good together. So we'll see.
All right. We had a question come in from Bria. Which box am I opening? I'm actually going to open all of them. So I've grabbed one. This was box number 8, and these are in no particular order. I literally just put them all in a big box, and some of them, two of them I actually opened on air once. I did a video when I was traveling. I took them with me on one of my trips, and I showed those were the first 2 that I arrived, and I'm like, oh, when I get back from my trip, I'm going to have dozens. No.
We're still waiting.
This is not looking good. Okay. So for those of you who don't know, if you have not been following my channel, so these boxes went out and I don't even remember now. These boxes went out some point at like the beginning of summer and of this summer. And the idea behind these, they're like little geocaching boxes. They were called the Trusty Travelers. There were 21 of them that went out into the wild. And when I sent them out with a little book with instructions of what you're supposed to do. And the short version is I put 5 items into the box. I sent it to 21 different people, and the 21 people were chosen randomly from, I did a live sale the week before these went out. And that's why there's a weird number. So 21 people purchased at my live sale that night. So 21 of these boxes went out the door. So that was how the first 21 people were chosen. There was no favorites. There was, it was completely random of who bought. So you then would get the book. You would put in the book what was included in the box. So I said I was starting the box. You were supposed to put your name and then any sort of tag, like if you were on Instagram or YouTube. If you took anything, of course, since I started the box, I didn't take anything. And then what you put in. So this one happened to be, all of them got a vintage maxi pad and all of them got a pair of my coasters. But then this one also had a copper mold, a Danish plate, and a magnet. And then this box, number 8, went to Helen Casey. She added a Bluebird of Happiness. That went then to Randy Heilman, and she added a Spaghetti Poodle. Then Barb from Winking Owl Antiques, she added an egg planter. And then it went to Jeffrey at Real Nifty Vintage, and he added a sugared bear figurine. Then it went to Daniel at Tacky As Me. He added an enameled bell. And of course, they're each taking something out as they're doing this. Catherine, this is also Catherine Young's box. So she added a train and skate key and unidentified fluff ball and a handmade tag. So people were doing like little lots of things. And then it went to Barbie Harwood, who added a ceramic 3-cat figurine. And Barbie is with Punk, Funk, and Junk, and she is the one who returned it to me. So I now get to see what's in the box. So we've got, look, it's the Danish plate. It's made it back. So nobody wanted my my Denmark plate. These are actually have value too, so I'm a little surprised. But not everyone likes blue and white. I think Brian will be jonesing for that. Brian Hans, that might go into his hands. We've got the sugared bear.
He's very cute.
He's cute. I'm surprised he lasted in there. And because sometimes people were putting really nice items in, and then of course, because it was like the Bluebird of Happiness was competing against a pair of my coasters. So people took the really nice items. I don't blame them whatsoever. But then some of them, they were even saying, oh, I'm going to add these because then you can use them for the fundraiser. Well, they didn't always make it back to me. So there's like a little wind up train. Kind of cool. And so what's going to happen with all of this stuff?
Yep. Brian wants the plate.
Yeah. Well, Brian, you're going to take, you're going to have to buy everything, because what is going to end up happening is every one of these items is going to go into a box lot and be auctioned off on my eBay store. So that Danish plate could cost you a lot of money. So depending on what people sent me, they all of this will. I'm not sure if I will mix it up. Like if I've got too many items, I might have to do multiple lots. Like maybe put all the porcelain together and then all the whatever. But at this point, I only have 12, and they were all due to me October 1st. So at this point, I don't think I'm going to get any more. So we've got, some of this will just be like, maybe I find a jar. There's just all kinds of these things. This is
you could do little junk jars.
Chicago Roller Skate Company. So it's an old skate key. I've actually never understood what a skate key is for. Do you know what a skate key is for, Katie?
I don't. I'm not.
I always hear people talk about them, but I don't know I don't know what to do with them.
I don't know if you take off the ice skates at the bottom and replace the skates when they get dull for sharpening.
Literally, I don't think I've ever even seen one. And see, you went to ice skates. I went to roller skate. No, this is roller skate. Yeah, this one says
roller skate. Okay.
So I don't know if this is for the skate or is this like for a locker at the skating rink. So I don't know.
Barbie's saying to tighten them.
But tighten what? The bolts on the skate or on the
skate. Wheel, yeah, that would make sense.
Okay, that makes sense.
Okay, and then Nancy's saying a skate key was for roller skates that fit over your shoes. It was to tighten the nut on the adjustable part of the skates. Oh, okay.
Oh, okay. So you could get it really tight because it looks basically like it's got there are some prongs down at the bottom, but it's basically just for a square, like you said, like a square nut. All right, interesting. I mean, I hear talk about like they talk about happy days all the time, but I never knew what one was. So this is a bookmark that was added in. So like a lot of little things got thrown into these. Some stickers, Bigfoot, undefeated hide and seek champion. That's cute. And then a library cart. This is how I roll.
That's
So
fun.
So yeah, so these I'm going to keep these together because I want to do some posts for those that have Instagram. Because a lot of people, when I started posting that they were missing, a lot of people were like, "Well, did you get mine? Did you get mine? Did you get mine?" I'm like, "I don't know. I don't. I mean, at this point, I have no idea who got them." And so the fact that 9 of them are still missing, I have no way of getting them. At this
Well,
point, the best I could do is put the word out so that somebody can. And so if somebody would ask me, "Oh, did you get mine?" Like, well, who did you send it to? At some point, you like had to go down the line and say, okay, wait, because what I have a feeling, one of the requests in the directions was don't send it to someone without their permission first. But I think Katie, you were one of the ones that told me you got multiple boxes without people asking your permission.
yep.
So
Well, I was totally fine with it.
yeah,
but
exactly. Like
everybody
that's
else.
cool. But if like Uncle Jeff suddenly got this box and didn't know what to do with it, even though the instructions were in there, is Uncle Jeff on a fixed income and didn't want to pay to ship it to the next person? So that's where I was totally cool. I wanted it to leave the insular vintage community. I wanted it to get into other circles because the more people that knew about the fundraiser, the more money we were going to raise. Like I was all totally about, but if it got into the hands of someone that didn't want to participate, it's like a chain letter that then dies. But unfortunately, in this case, it's chain letter that was worth money that somebody might. It's like there's now 45 items missing. And even if they're 45 of the items I put in there, I mean, I spent a couple $100 filling these boxes and shipping them out. So it'd be nice to find the rest, but I don't have a lot of hope at this point.
I wonder if the post office has lost some of them because
It's entirely possible.
Been dealing with the shipping thing. I mean, I think we all have this close to Christmas and just the postal service is overwhelmed. And, I'm sure that maybe some of them might just appear randomly one day.
Yeah. So at this point, what I'll probably do is I'm going to try and open all these tonight. And I probably plan these to go into the eBay auction next week because that will be on December 2nd, which means the auction will not end until December 9th. So we're already going to be approaching the end of the year when I need this to be wrapped up. So what I'll probably do is if I get any more before then, of course, they'll be included. But then after that, I'm just going to deal with them. I'm either put them on my live sale or whatever. I mean, I don't think if I just get one, I don't think there's going to be a lot of merit to putting them up for auction on eBay. And I just don't want to wait too long because I don't think we're going to hit the $5,000 goal that we had for the fundraiser, but we definitely went ahead of the 3,500 we had last year. And it's, it's like, it is what it is. At this point there were, I wanted to try. Some people say, well, maybe make the instructions simpler. Okay. I can be wordy, but it was a half a page.
I thought they were very easy to follow, Patrick.
And I did this part, which was like more detailed. And then this part was like 1, 2, 3. This was all you needed to do. And then it says right in there, is it after October 1st? Boxes must return to Trusty. It was like, I thought that was relatively simple, but you never know. So people did seem to enjoy it. And so I definitely want to do this again, but I also need to do it in a way that makes sense because what I recognize is people were commenting. They're like, oh, I put this really nice item in there that you can sell at the fundraiser. But then people were posting, I had a hashtag on Instagram. I could see people taking those items. Well, that's exactly the way this is supposed to work. Like there's nothing wrong with that. But then it's kind of like, but if somebody thought they were donating to the fundraiser and it actually ended in the hands of somebody else, like I need to get around that somehow. And I don't exactly know how to do it. So it was nice that they were doing it, but the idea was it was just little stuff. It was just for fun. And I think people did have fun with it. I'll go ahead and open another one. We'll do something.
I thought it was fun getting the boxes. And it's interesting because I had just heard about geocaching literally probably a month before Patrick started doing these. And I would follow videos of people in Florida talking about all these fun geocaching places. And I thought, that's just so cool. And then Patrick started this. I'm like, hey, I get to finally geocache, even though, it's virtually. It was really fun. So I enjoyed it.
So what I had done with my daughter when she was growing up, we actually did a variation of it called letterboxing. And it's the same idea, but the idea behind letterboxing is you made your own custom stamp. So you had something that was unique, and what was in the letterbox was a book kind of like the book that I included, is a book that you would then stamp that you found the book, and then you put it back. Like you didn't actually take anything
cool.
out of it. So it wasn't like the geocaching, I think more the idea that you actually got, the coordinates in a forest or something. Sometimes this was like, go to, in the case of letterboxing, it was a little bit less high tech. Like you literally could get the instructions that would say, go to the northwest corner of the parking lot of this, forest preserve, follow the path 10 steps till it branches to the right, follow 10 more steps, you'll see a tree leaned against a log or whatever, in where those two meet, there's a box, and you find the box, and so it's like but it wasn't like the digital version of it where it's like, okay, I'm like 30 degrees west and that kind of thing. So we did that for a while, and I thought they were a lot of fun. And then geocaching, I liked that idea of trading. So this was just one of those, like, I don't even know if I thought of it as the geocaching at the time. It was literally just kind of like a floating mystery box, which then that also became a whole other problem, because then people thought these were mystery boxes, and that confused people, because I had somebody who got one of these as a trusty traveler, and then when I was recognizing all of the stores that had participated, or all the resellers that had participated in the mystery box giveaway for the fundraiser, they're like, well, what about us? Like, what about you? You got a free trusty traveler. You did not donate a mystery box. So they're two very different things. So there was somebody else in a chat one time. They're like, well, I got one and I didn't get a maxi pad. Well, the maxi pads are for the mystery boxes. These did start with a maxi pad, but they maybe got taken. So the next one is this one I actually knew about. And this kind of goes along with what you were saying, Katie. This actually came from Karen Dondelinger, who's in the chats quite regularly. And she had sent this to a friend. I think she's in California. She sent it to another friend in California. She did exactly what I was hoping everyone would do, particularly when we started hunting for these. She was following up with her friend to make sure her friend got it. Her friend never got it.
Oh, no.
Ever. So like after a month of it being missing, she was like, well, like we're running out of time. I think by that time it was like already September. So she's like, at some point, these are going to have to ship back to you. So what she ended up doing, you can see, shockingly enough, almost all the boxes I started with came back to me. They're all the same, but this one changed out because it got lost. The book then also got lost, unfortunately. But she filled a new box all with her stuff and her friends. Like a couple people chipped in and created a new box. So like way thanks to Karen Donnellier. So she's with Sunny's Vintage Surprises. So she put in, and then she has a friend that does jewelry. So let's see, the friend's name was Dolores Designs. Wait, there's a little mesh bag here I can't open.
Beth says she has several maxi pads and bought them when he had a whole box. I know they're so fun, Beth. I love them.
So so a friend of hers, like they kind of joined together. So the jewelry designer came up with some earrings. So just put that in the box.
Oh, those are lovely.
Karen, if people recognize Karen's name, Karen is a fellow coaster lover. She has made her own coasters as well for her business. So she included one of her own coasters. She also, a screen cleaner is from hers, and then a mask, and then what's this? Box is taped. I don't know what's in here. Oh, more jewelry. Okay, so then this one is it's Name That Breed. I take it out of the bag so it doesn't reflect.
Hey, let's see. We've all watched the dog show today, probably.
There you go.
Spiffy on our
fresh in your mind.
Oh, I think that's a poodle or a schnauzer.
It's definitely not a schnauzer. I'm going to say it's either a poodle or there's that weird dandy Dinmount thing. And the dandy Dinmount has like the weird like toupee. So I'm not sure, but I think that might just be a poodle.
I think it might just be a poodle too.
Okay, so Kylie's saying it's a poodle. Beth says the poodle. So okay, so we've got a beautiful poodle brooch. Let's see. I don't think I've got my loop here. I don't see a signature, but let's look at the back.
I think that's older.
All right, so it's got that riveted back that Katie's talked about. So that's a really cool piece. And then also there's actually three here. So then we've got.
I know. I wish the terrier would have won too, Abby, today. Although I was rooting for Louis. Well, not Louis, but Louis lookalike, the pug. And of course, the pugs never get chosen. What is up with that? There's a conspiracy theory. I'm onto it.
So it looks like another poodle, maybe with a turquoise belly.
He does look like he has a turquoise belly and a little turquoise colored Jimmy eye.
Yeah,
He is cute.
it's definitely a stone, and it's like it doesn't really show very well. It's a rough edge stone. It's not a cabochon, so it's a very rough stone. I don't know, but I don't know if that's turquoise. Again, at quick glance, this does not appear to be signed.
Oh, that is very cute.
But the back. So what kind of back is that? Is that still one of those? That goes flying down my computer. Is that still one of those riveted backs? It looks a little different.
Yeah, I wouldn't consider that technically riveted like the other one is. I don't know its age, to be honest, but it is a poodle, and I would assume because it's a poodle and has the Jimmy eye again, maybe would say 50s for that. But in the 50s, they didn't do tons of silver. From my understanding, it was very big into the gold tones, so it could be a little later, but I'm not 100%
Okay.
sure.
Now Delbert's at his in-laws, so we all have to think good thoughts for Delbert.
Yes, wishing you well, Delbert. Take a couple of Jell-O shots in my honor, and that will help you get through.
And I'm thinking this is a dachshund?
I think it's a dachshund. It's long.
It's like a dachshund with a fox tail.
And long, like basset hound ears.
Yeah. So I guess he's sitting up. I guess I'm trying to figure out the paws. So I guess because he's only got the rear paw.
How does the back go? That will show you how it's supposed to be worn.
Oh yeah. So okay, so that is how it's.
Oh. So he's not sitting up then.
No.
Interesting.
It's like he's about to leap off of a log. So yeah, but that would be how you'd wear them with the pin back straight. And so this one again, I don't see a signature. So for the back.
Maybe he's a mutt. Now I don't know. He looks a little later to me, but I'm not 100% sure.
He also appears to either have some dead stones or missing stones, because you can see in his ear. There's a couple places.
Oh, yeah, that happens to a lot of the glued-in stones.
Yeah, so I can't tell if they're just missing or if they're just dead. Because Katie and I did a duo dive with Nancy from this Overstuffed House, and she talked a lot about rhinestones, and that was one of the terms that I learned, is that when they just
color. I use that all the time. I always check now. Nancy was extremely helpful with that.
Absolutely. So, okay, so she put in the jewelry, the earrings, and the mask plus little things. So those will also all be included in whatever I end up doing for the fundraiser on my eBay channel.
Poor Delbert. He says there's no alcohol here, but I've been eyeing the hand sanitizer. Bless you, Delbert. No, don't do that.
So Bella was saying that was a long-haired dachshund with the tail like that.
That could be. Okay. It could have a little fan tail.
I don't know if Dawn is still here. She would be she's saying she loves the pin, but now did you identify the pin? Dawn, you're our go-to for if that is some level of doxy brethren. But
Tim is asking if there's a deep dive playlist.
If there's a deep dive what?
Playlist.
There is. Actually, when I started doing deep dives, I created a playlist on my channel, Trusty's Vintage Deep Dives, and so they were all going into there. When I then started doing the duo dives with Katie and then the triptychs with Nate, I don't know if I've been consistent, but I've been adding them into the same playlist. I didn't want to have to try and create multiple playlists. There is a playlist just of the triptychs, but I think I've also added them to the deep dive. So I've got all of our triptychs. I think we're up to. What are we up to now? How many have we done?
I was just trying to figure that out.
Have we each done 3 or have we each done 4? I'm about to do my next one, and I started them. So we've done a full cycle.
Yep, because I did the one on oil cans first. I've done Coke, and I did glass. So I've done 3.
You've done 3, okay.
Yeah.
And so I've done Rookwood, I've done World's Fairs, and I've done Cambridge Glass. I guess that's all I've done. So then my fourth one, so this will be coming up this Sunday, is the next triptych. So the same time that I used to do my Trustees Vintage deep dives, they're still on Sundays at 8 p.m. But now we rotate. So Nate hosted the last one that was investigating, telling the tales of auctions in New Zealand. Turns out that he didn't get any of the items that he was bidding on.
I know. I was
so bummed. But it was a timed auction that was happening in Auckland that was supposed to end like something like 4 hours after the show ended. He ended up not getting any of the stuff he'd been on. So anyway, so it's on his channel. So my next one, and it's actually, I picked it specifically because of what's happening with Nancy and I, because I'm now in rehearsals for a new show. I decided to do my next Tales from the Triptych will be telling the tale of Broadway. So I'm going to be talking about Broadway theater, the definition of what is Broadway versus what off Broadway, and then specifically getting into the collectability of Broadway. So we're going to talk about playbills. We're going to talk about window cards, posters, but window cards. And that's actually one of the items that is going up on my eBay store tonight is
check that out.
It is the original window card from 1977 from the Gwen Verdon, Cheetah Rivera, Jerry Orbach, Chicago, with Bob Fosse's direction. This only ran for a couple of years, and then they did a revival, and the revival is now the longest running revival on Broadway. So you need to know the difference. So that's one of the things we're going to talk about is when things become more valuable versus less valuable, how long it was around. So this one, unfortunately, has a little bit of damage. I picked it up in its frame, but the glass had shattered, and where the glass broke, it damaged the image. So this one,
those graphics are cool.
And these sell for between $100 and $200 in perfect condition. So I don't know what this damage is going to, how it's going to affect it. So that's why I'm putting it up for auction, because I really have no idea, how big of a difference it'll be. So that is going to be going live probably within the next half hour. I don't remember when I timed them, because now what's happening is, since my sale's not going to be till 11 p.m. Eastern, I don't want to time my eBay auctions to end at midnight. I'm not going to have as much activity. So they're still going to end just before I start my show. So we'll see how that goes. But yes, so the telling the Triptych for Broadway, that is my next one. And then I have a couple others that I'm thinking I might try and do one that's Christmas themed in December. Haven't decided if I have enough information on that one yet. And that's where Katie and I are at, which become duo dives versus which become triptychs. So like last night, if you joined on Katie's channel, she hosted the duo dive last night, but it was my interviewing for my collection of All Over Gold. And it was one of those cases, like as I was prepping for it, I do want to do a triptych on Picard. That's the bulk of my collection, but the all over gold portion of it could never have been a triptych. So I just took that little piece of it, and we still filled an hour because, it's me.
We both like to talk.
Yeah, I'm definitely a talker. So we still filled an hour. But I might still end up doing a triptych, but so we're kind of balancing between those. And Nate does not participate in the duo dives so much, so he's focused 100% on what's the most interesting triptych. And if he does what I think he's going to do next, I'm super excited, because he talked about it during the auction, and he was using terminology that I did not know. And both Katie and I were texting him during the triptych. This needs to be your next triptych.
It's so fascinating. I want to know more. It's interesting.
Absolutely. So we'll see if that's what he ends up doing, but it's fun.
And I'm glad, Patrick, that you're hosting the next triptych, because last night I went to bed. I got in bed. I was all cozy, and sometimes your mind runs through the lists of things that are coming up next. I was like, wait a minute. Am I supposed to host the next triptych? Oh no, I don't have a topic. Oh no, I'm going to do that as a duo dive. Oh no, I better. And then I went through the list, and I was like, okay, no, that's right. Patrick's doing it on Broadway. Good, we're good. I'll figure it out next.
And this is also, I do love doing community theater, but I love going to Broadway. And this was something that last October was when I turned 50, and I had originally planned on doing an entire week in New York and just doing nothing but going to see Broadway shows, as many matinees, as many shows I could see that I could fit in. And of course, COVID killed all of that. So someday I will make that back. And because I used to go to New York for work twice a year. So when I would do that, I'd usually go in a day early or stay a day later after the work stuff was done to do a show. So I mean, I've seen a lot of Broadway shows. I took my daughter to the Tony Awards for her 16th birthday.
Oh, that's
You
fantastic.
can attend the Tony Awards as a member of the public. It's expensive, but you can attend. So that's a great memory that she and I have.
Okay.
Of her and I going to Broadway doing stuff together. I love the. I don't think I could do it, Dana. I remember the scene. It's like Twyla, Fosse, Michael Kidd, just jumping, doing all the dance stuff. And so I actually had some notes for what we were going to talk about tonight. And so one of the things I want to get some audience participation. We've got a lot of that movie. Birdcage, I don't think it would qualify as a Christmas movie, but I would be curious, what is your go-to? This is one of the questions I wanted to throw into the chat. What is your favorite and what is your go-to Christmas movie? So we'll start with Katie. What is your favorite Christmas movie, or what do they go to? Like when we decorate the tree every year, you always have to watch the same. So like we definitely the go-to. So I'm curious if you have something like that you just watch every year at Christmas.
Yeah, I mean, I have several. I have like a little list, but what I always grew up watching with my dad was Christmas Vacation. That was our thing. And so for me, I always have to have on Christmas Vacation at least once. Now, for my personal self, I love the original Santa Claus with Tim Allen. So that's always on. I always have the second Home Alone. I like the second Home Alone better. I know that might be a hot take. I like that movie. Elf is another one I will always watch. And then I have to watch, there's a movie that just came out. Well, it didn't just come out, maybe like 4 years ago. Louie, she does not want the cone on, folks. She's got the cone on because she had a little incident with her eye, and she's just like begging to get it off. And I can't take it off because she'll scratch her eye. So anyway, she's fine. I promise you. I love The Christmas Project. It is a fabulous little movie. It was on Netflix. I don't know if it's still there, but you can rent it on YouTube. So that's another thing. And then, of course, Miracle on 34th Street. So yes, love Miracle on 34th Street.
Excellent. I love seeing The Shop Around the Corner being thrown in there because most people do not know that movie. That is based on a play, but The Shop Around the Corner is what eventually got turned into You've Got Mail. So the earlier versions, and there's a Judy Garland version called In the Good Old Summertime, also has a Christmas part of it. So our go-to for my daughter when we were decorating for Christmas is always Muppets Christmas Carol. It just like we sit there and like as the movie's running, we're sitting there doing them line by line. Light the lamp, not the rat. Light the lamp, not the rat. Just all the different like. So okay, so I said that it depending on how I did this, what we were doing in the chat, I was going to have some games. So oh my God, Emmett Otter's Jug Band Christmas. That's awesome. Let's Mom take this. Oh, which one's that?
I think that's Christmas Story, where the kid's wrapped up in so much that he falls over.
Okay, we don't want to always be sad, but yeah, the original Shop Around the Corner, got Christmas Story.
I saw some people saying White Christmas, and I have to be honest, I'm probably the odd man out here. That is not one of my favorites, and I love classic movies, but that just isn't one that I have to watch every year. I could kind of take it or leave it.
The Grinch animated one, absolutely, Susan. Okay, so a couple of these have come up. So I'm going to ask. This is going to be like, well, you get to be the public voice, Katie, but we will let people in the chats. We're not doing Jeopardy. I'm not going to ask you like what was the birth date of the founder of Fenton, but it's kind of a multiple choice. So I grouped these together. So we've got 5 movies that came out around the same time within the same decade. Which came out first?
Okay.
Die Hard. I hide the current comment. I don't want to confuse people. Die Hard, Christmas Vacation, Scrooged, The Christmas Story, or Home Alone. The first one. So between Die Hard, Christmas Vacation, Scrooged, The Christmas Story, and Home Alone. Between those 5.
I think Christmas Story.
All right, so we've got to vote for Christmas Story. I've never heard of Christmas Memory with Geraldine Page. Geraldine Page for me is always going to be The Trip to Bountiful. That's the only thing I know her from. Christmas with the Cranks. Christmas Vacation.
Oh yeah, Christmas Vacation.
All right,
now,
so
I do
Brian,
like 4 Christmases.
So Brian, I think, is guessing Christmas Story because he had already given his favorites. Then we got to vote for Scrooged. We got to vote for Christmas Vacation, Scrooged, Die Hard. I'll say one of you is right. So somebody has the right answer so far. All right. So I will start in reverse order. The latest one was Home Alone, and I don't think anyone guessed that one. So Home Alone was actually 1990. So
Yeah, I thought that was later.
So that's barely within the decade. So that was the last of the 5. The before that was Christmas Vacation in 89. So 1990 down to 89. And then Die Hard and Scrooged both came out in 1988. And Christmas Story is the first one. That was 1983. That was 5 years earlier than Die Hard or Scrooged. So of that list, that was definitely the earliest one. Now, we also I had a grouping from the 60s. And I think somebody had said, somebody had mentioned the Grinch. So that's in this list. So the next one is which is the first for the 60s of the 4 that I found. How the Grinch Stole Christmas, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, Charlie Brown's Christmas, or Frosty.
Oh.
Or which was the first? They're all in the 60s. Which one was the first?
I vote Frosty.
All right, so we've got a guess for Frosty.
And while that's happening, folks, I'm going to give Louie a treat so she feels a little bit more settled.
Which is exactly why she does it. Like, I'm going to annoy Mommy's on air. I'm going to annoy her until she gives me food. Ooh, The House Without a Christmas Tree. I don't think I know that one. We were doing our Christmas tree. We were putting our Christmas tree together yesterday, and my daughter whipped out this reference that I was just so proud of her. It's like, well, we love book references in the house. And we were putting together the tree, and we put the segments in the wrong order. And so when we went to put the top on, we realized what we'd done. And she's carrying the top of the tree, and she's like, I feel like Mr. Willoughby. And how many people would even know that reference? But there is a children's book called Mr. Willoughby's Christmas Tree. And the concept of the Mr. Willoughby's Christmas Tree is that Mr. Willoughby lives in a mansion and buys the biggest tree he can get. And when he brings it into his home, it doesn't fit. So he chops off the top of the tree. And then the top of the tree that is the shape of a perfect Christmas tree goes to, I don't even know, I don't remember the order, but it's like, then like goes to a servant. And then it goes into the servant's house, and the servant can't fit it all either. So they cut off the top of their tree. And then that goes to like a child, and then the child can't fit it in their whatever. And so they chop it off until finally a mouse gets the very top branch of the Christmas tree. That's what it's very sweet. One of the traditions, that's the other question I was going to talk about. One of the traditions is that we had is we did Advent calendars. I love Advent calendars, but I love them with non-traditional applications. So we did a Christmas book, Advent calendar. So we had 25 Christmas books. Over her childhood, it grew to about 40 Christmas books. And we would then, when we decorated for Christmas, we would each pick, all 3 of us, which books we wanted in the Advent calendar that year. And then we would put the pieces of paper into the Advent calendar. So each day we would read a new Christmas book. And so
how sweet. Stuff.
And that's in Mr. Willoughby's Christmas Tree was one of the books in the Advent calendar. So, okay. So I was talking so long, I've missed all the answers. So Frosty's even getting a year. Unfortunately, Big Mac fan, which I apologize, didn't say hello to you. Hello, Pete too. They are coming in. So Frosty has the wrong title, but the right year, because the first movie is 64 and the oldest so I'll do it in reverse order. Frosty is actually the newest of the 4. Frosty was 1969. Wow. So Frosty was 69. How the Grinch Stole Christmas was 67. Charlie Brown's Christmas was 65, which then meant that Rudolph was 64. So Rudolph was the oldest of the 4. And I still remember my father, when Amelia was born and we'd be watching children's, just different stuff. My father always said, now that is quality animation. He loved claymation animation. That was his favorite thing ever. So Frosty was 5 years after Rudolph, which that surprised me when I found that. But I guess that claymation, that was 64. That was the earliest.
If you watch the claymation videos of I'm Mr. Snow Miser.
Oh yes.
Yeah. And then, I'm Mr. Heat. That is creepy. Like I saw that the other day again, and I'm like, what in the world?
Now,
Kids
which
are
one is
having
that in?
nightmares.
Because there's like
I don't know
I
what
know
it's
there's like these
from.
subplots. Because as Rudolph is the one with the dentist, like the elf that wants to be the dentist, and the abominable snowman. That's the Rudolph one, right?
Yeah, that's the Rudolph, but I don't know where this one's from.
So the Heat
It's Heat,
Miser
Heat
is
Miser and Snow
was
Miser.
that the Year Without a Santa Claus? Somebody was talking about that. Was that the one that was Year Without a Santa Claus? I'm trying to remember. Claymation's a lost art. So okay, so Brian's saying that is the Year
Oh, the
Without a
Year
Santa.
Without a
Oh, and
Santa
Carrie
Claus.
came up with
Okay.
Cornelius the elf. So Cornelius must have been the one that wanted to be the dentist. But that one I'm almost positive was from Rudolph. So yeah. So Charlie Brown was from the 65, the same year Big Mac fan was born. So yeah, so those are the 60s. And then I went back because we love old movies. So then I also went back into the 40s. So now we've got the 40s.
The 40s. Okay.
5 40s films, all Christmas films. One of the 5, one of them I don't actually particularly care for, so we can talk about that too. But so the 5 films are Bishop's Wife,
Okay.
Christmas in Connecticut, Holiday Inn, so the original, not the White Christmas, Holiday Inn, Miracle on 34th Street, and It's a Wonderful Life.
It's a Wonderful Life is sad. I'm sorry.
Yes, it is dark.
It's very
My daughter couldn't remember, literally, we just talked about this yesterday. My daughter couldn't remember if she had seen it at some point during her childhood. And she probably did because her mom liked it. So I'm sure we would have watched it, but maybe when she just didn't remember it. So she said she was watching it like maybe for the first time recently. And she's like, what is this horrible film? Like, it's super dark. Like, yeah, well, it did not do well. It did not do well in the movies at all. Like in the theaters, it did not make a lot of money. It was not a popular film. And it's just, I think, because the word of mouth was, yeah, this is dark. Like you can only see, was it not Martini, Nick? Nick becomes a jerk, in the fantasy sequence. So it's kind of like, oh, hey, Louie. It's kind of hard to see Nick as anything else. Yes, Al Misfit Toys is actually rather sad. Hermie was the elf. Oh, Yukon Cornelius was the prospector. Awesome, Pete. Excellent.
good job, Pete.
All right, so we got guesses coming in. So Vinny, who doesn't even know where in the 40s was, because he's so young. I'm not doing anything on your intelligence. You're so young, Vinny. So Miracle on 34th. Brian is saying Holiday Inn. Another Miracle 34th, and we got Bishop's Wife, another Holiday Inn, It's Wonderful Life.
I say Holiday Inn.
Bishop's Wife, 34th Street, Wonderful Life. Rudolph was bullied, absolutely. Bishop's Wife as a vote. Okay, so in reverse order, the latest of the list was actually Bishop's Wife and Miracle on 34th Street. Both of those were done in 1947.
Oh, wow.
It's a Wonderful Life was just before it in 1946. Christmas in Connecticut, which is the movie that I don't particularly care for. Christmas in Connecticut is 1945. And then the oldest is Holiday Inn, 1942. So 5 years earlier than Miracle or Bishop's Wife. So yes, Holiday Inn.
I can't believe I got that. I'm proud of myself.
So I'm not a big Christmas in Connecticut is one I will admit I've only seen it once or twice, but the entire film is all based on a woman claiming to be something that she's not, and then kind of like the hijinks that ensues. And I don't like the concept of it. I will say it seems very modern for its time. Have you seen that one?
Yep, I've seen it a couple of times, and it's not one of my favorites either.
Because I'm trying to remember the details. She's is she a magazine editor or something, like a home magazine or something?
I think she doesn't know how to cook.
It's either like a cooking magazine or it's a home design magazine. She lives in a really nice house, but she doesn't know, I think, something about cooking or something about being a housewife, but she doesn't know how to be a housewife. So like that one was 1945. That's fairly progressive. Like that would be something I could see happening now. Yeah, that somebody is like running a lifestyle magazine or running like somebody who's got a show on the cooking channel.
Oh yeah, she pretends to be a very domestic woman with a baby.
Oh, the baby! I forgot about that. There you go. Right. And writes a column, but is all fake and knows nothing she writes about. All right. Yes, I forgot about the baby. That's right. She's like come up with an entire family. Like I said, it just maybe was ahead of its time. I just, to a certain extent, it seemed like it was trying to be a wholesome thing. It clearly, they're not everyone was wholesome in 1945, but
Yeah, no.
I just didn't like the angle of that one. I don't know. I didn't like it. Mr. Blanding builds his dream house. Absolutely perfect film. This one, that one, didn't care for as much. But like I said, but I've only ever seen it once or twice. Actually, so Martha Stewart, I think I've seen enough stuff on Martha Stewart, you know, when she wasn't in jail, that I think she owns what she does. Like that, all of her homes and everything. Like she's got a staff, which helps, but yeah, that is kind of funny though that she consider her great decor in her fake country house. Oh, Desk Set, fantastic movie. And I also, yeah, that was actually pretty modern too. Because really, if you like kind of look, and this would be one of those cases with the, you know, with the censors or whatever, like this, the undertone is Katharine Hepburn was like sleeping around, you know,
Oh
like
yeah.
with one guy, but it was serious with somebody else, but she was not married. You're right. That there's a lot of things that from today's mores, you know, is somewhat mild, but you suddenly put him in the middle of that time zone. Well, because what was it? You probably know, Katie. Was it I Love Lucy that put the first time they put married couple into a double bed?
Yes, it was I Love Lucy, I believe, but it was not early in their earlier seasons, and
That's
there were
true.
rules. You know, if a guy were to sit, they couldn't even sit on a woman's bed unless his foot was on the floor, and
Oh,
they had to show that. I mean, there were all
wow.
these things that you couldn't do back then, and interestingly enough, today I was just listening to 50s on 5 on the way over to my grandma's, and they were doing a family Thanksgiving like special. Pat Boone has a Pat Boone hour, which is just fascinating because he's got all these great stories from his time in music. And they played basically the theme of it was family duos. So they had sisters, they had, you know, all of the groups from back in the time. And they played an early version of, I think it was the Ames Brothers. I sent it to Finney, and the song was titled Naughty Lady, and it was about this naughty lady that stirs up trouble in this perfect little town because she's like sleeping around. And I'm like, wow, that song made it out in the 50s, late 40s, early 50s. What is going on here?
While you were talking, I was opening up the next box. So this one was box number 12. So this one started life with me. I included the Maxi Madness coasters, but I also included a leaf dish, cocktail picks, and a magnet. That went to Gritty Gret, and she added a brooch. Then it went to Perfecting Pearls, added a cow salt and pepper shakers. Then it went to Tina Holland and added a small bud vase. Then it went to the Ridgeways, who added, that was Chrissy's Corner for Collectors, added a necklace. Then there's Delbert's box. So Delbert's still on. So he left a pink M&M bowl. Then it went to Calypso Antiques, left a white Canadian vase. Then Vintage Digs left a poodle. Teresa Bryant, Bland Set. Teresa B, she left a pair of earrings. Then Cha-Cha, the Junking Data Girl, left an ornament. Vintage
Who's here now in the
Conversation.
chat?
Is she in the chat?
Yep.
Oh, Junkie Data Girl. Yeah, hello. Then Vintage Conversation left another salt and pepper shakers. And then it went to Sue Raspberry of Raspberry Pickin' and left a brooch. So we have at least one brooch in here.
Yay, that is fantastic.
All right. So we've got a Cameo style brooch, possibly on glass.
That is gorgeous. Look at that.
Yeah, so some beautiful work in that one. Like it's almost, I'm trying to figure out what that is on the edges. It's enameling. Oh no, it's cut. It's filigree. It's
it's filigree.
pierced.
Oh man, that's
So that's
amazing.
like my hand was covering it up. I'm like, oh, are those stones? No, that's my flesh. So those you can cut through, and then I think I'm gonna assume it's the same material. Those little beads are the same material. And if you look on the back, I'm thinking that's glass.
I think so.
just the way that
And
looks and it's reflecting.
and I bet that has some weight to it, Patrick.
It does. And the pin is relatively long. It sticks out a little past. So what do you think of age-wise on that, like with that style of pin?
I would say 40s maybe.
Yeah, so
But then again, I don't know because
that's
they did all
gorgeous.
kinds of revivals of stuff. But that is beautiful. Absolutely stunning.
I got my magnet back, my Casablanca magnet. Let's see. Oh, got a pair of salt and pepper shakers. Ooh, these are luster. Got they say Japan. I thought they said Nippon there for a second, but they do say Japan. So it's got the blue luster, little pair of salt and pepper shakers.
It's okay. Look at the vintage Patrick has, huh?
Got a little, this was official member of the Nice Club. So clearly not destined to stay in my possession.
Oh, Louie.
Got a little dog ornament, blown glass ornament. And I got my coasters back. So we got some nice items in that one that they'll be included in the eBay haul that goes up for the fundraiser. Cool.
That is going to be awesome, Patrick. And that brooch is really fantastic.
Yeah, so it's exciting to see what things came back. This one I had to open because there had been an issue that I had to open this one. So I'll show this one really quick. This one went to Jewel T, Julie Stokes at Jewel T. She left a Wade Whimsy. And then it went to Mimi's Treasure Cottage, who added a Spaniel figurine. Then it went to Ancestral Beginnings, who added a cabinet card photo. Then it went to Vintage and Vina, who added cookie cutters. Then it went to Bree Gia. So this is Bree's box, if she's still here. She added the Bluebird card holder. Then it went to Tiger, and Tiger added the dragon figurine. Then Vintage Stuff and Things added vintage matchbooks. Then it went to Christina B Vintage, Kristen's B Vintage.
I don't know. That's not Christina? No, that's not Christina Galanowski.
I mean, I think it says Christine.
Is that Christina?
Christina B Vintage is her Instagram. So I thought maybe it was an S, but I think it's an A. So she added a Wade polar bear. And then it went to Poteet's Vintage Finds, added a vintage elephant. Then it went to Song Away Farm. That is Sam Stud with a Stash. That's his mother. She added a New Hampshire snow globe. And I got back one of my maxi pads. So this one made life without someone taking the maxi pad. Little Bluebird note holder. The New Hampshire snow globe. So it's got a bear and a moose, and I had actually looked at this one. I'm not sure I don't know if Sam is still here. I don't know what the bear and the moose are sitting in front of.
I don't know. Is that like, I keep wanting to say Snoopy's doghouse, but that's not right.
Yeah, it's like, is New Hampshire known for like a red cliff or something? Like, I have literally no idea what they were supposed to be sitting in front of it.
And that's not the shape of their state. So
no, yeah, because the shape is just like square. So
yeah, so I don't know.
No, there is. I haven't finished opening the box yet, Nate. Just stick with me. I'll cover it. Oh, it's a covered bridge.
Oh, okay.
It is?
It's okay, Louie. I know.
It's a really skinny covered bridge. I don't know. Maybe. I think there's a fire in between them. I mean, it's a snow globe with fire. I have no idea. And then there was the little elephant, trunk up, but that's okay. They can get love too.
Yep, they can.
And the Wade polar bear. And this bag is not a toy. No, Nate, the cabinet card is not here. So 1, 2. No, actually, there's only. Oh yeah, there it is. So, yeah, there's 5 things. So the snow globe, the note holder, maxi pad back, and then the 2 little figurines. So those are the 5. I should actually go, and I'll do this later when I go to show them. This one went through a lot of people. So this one went all the way to this got the 11th shipment. So I think some of them didn't make it that far. So it's kind of fun to see who has all gotten it back, gotten through it.
Yeah, Louie guys doesn't like this cone, but she's gonna be okay.
All right, Sam doesn't know what it is either, so that's okay.
It's something.
It's something.
It's red.
Now this one I will say came back. This one there have been some concern about whether this was going to be able to be circulated, and it just got merged with another box. So this one has actually this is the one I showed in my other video, so I'm not going to show that one again because I don't have a lot of time. So I'll open another one. So this one was box number 4. And they actually, some of them were trying to keep this one. I did not do that. Somebody did that on the side to try and keep track of where this was going. So at some point, 3,
that's
4,
interesting.
5, yeah. So 3 and 4 decided not to tell anybody. And then 5 just said, well, I'll tell you what state I'm in. 6 or 7 picked it up again. So let's see what this one is. Sorry, you're not doing well, Louie. How long she has to be in the cone?
She's got to be in the cone for another week. So she's supposed to get eye drops every 4 hours. And the problem is I can't get her the eye drops in. She squirms away. She doesn't like it. And I've tried everything. The towel, I've tried treats, I've tried you name it, I have tried it. And so finally I made the decision that since she needs the eye drops, I'm going to have to just board her at the vet for the week and let them do it every day, along with the other medicine she's supposed to have. She somehow scratched her cornea, I think playing a little too rough with her toy. And I noticed that she just didn't seem right. So I took her into the emergency ER and they said, oh, we're glad you brought her in. This needed to be treated. And I feel horrible because I can't get the drops in. So tomorrow, unfortunately, she will go have a little staycation with the vet. But she loves the vet. The people there are super nice and they're very good and caring. And they'll take good care of her and treat the eye and get everything all set up. But she's got to be in that cone and she just doesn't like it. Poor baby. I feel sorry for her, but I can't. I got to leave the cone on so her eye doesn't get worse, So I know I'm doing the right thing. I feel badly.
Yeah. All right, so this next box was sent to Melody's Miscellaneous. She took the Hello Kitty hanky and left a batch of brewery coasters. Vintage Vinny is his box. He took the coasters and added a pinup arcade card. Then Thrifting Adventures took the set of coasters and she took the Trusty Huckster coasters and added a vintage floral hanky. And then Nancy at this Overstuffed House took the vintage maxi pad and added a box of Dachshund stickers. Then I went to Nettie, who kept this hanky and added a vintage doily. Then I went to Lavish Mango, who took the Dirty Martini coaster and left a Fitz and Floyd bunny. Then Releve Vintage took the bunny and added a Wade Whimsy. And then She Must Be Who Sent It Back to Me. So we've got another magnet, which that started with me, so I need to not put magnets in my stuff. Cool figurine. I don't know if this is a Wade. Is that
are Wades always marked? That's what I was wondering, because I ran across a small bunch of figurines the other day that look like Wades, but I wasn't sure because they weren't marked.
The Wades that I have all dealt with when you're dealing with the Whimsies, and I don't know if I can find the polar bear, it's very hard to see, but yes, it is marked. But that doesn't mean they marked all of them. And this says something. Okay.
Yeah, it does. Wade, England.
Wade, England. So this is a Wade, but this is not a Wade Whimsy. This is too big to be a Wade Whimsy. So this is actually kind of cool.
That is a neat little piece. And I like the glazing on it.
Yeah, that's very cool. So, and Wade, most of the stuff that I've had from Wade has been marked in some way. Like some of the larger pieces, the creamers and sugars and stuff, have had stamps on the bottom. But there's been stuff that I got from a Wade collector from an estate sale, and that they said these were Wade's, but they weren't marked. So it's like it's not universal.
Now,
Then we've got.
Carrie's saying that could be one of the nursery rhyme ones, and I'm not familiar with those.
I have some of the nursery rhyme ones, and they're not this big. They're a little bit bigger, I would say. Like if you try to measure them, like I've got the woman who lived in a shoe, and I had one of the, I think I had Humpty Dumpty. They were upright, but they were probably like half of the size. So I'm not sure if they did like other figures, that because the Wade Whimsies were like they put them in boxes of tea. So these might have just been sold. Maybe they did larger versions of them as collectibles on their own. I don't know. Brooch.
Ooh, that's pretty.
Let's go. Nice
I
blingy
can't tell if
brooch.
that's prong set or not, Patrick.
Sorry, loop. So
Hey, Kathy.
I cannot tell. I think they're glued.
It still is an absolutely stunning piece with lots of sparkle.
And this has the Y back that you talked about.
Yeah, so that's definitely, I would say, 50s or 60s. And I mean, imagine that on a beautiful winter coat.
Absolutely. So some really nice shine to that. And then another little figurine. This one's made in Japan.
Now, Nate is saying that's called Girl with Bonnet and Bucket. I don't know, Nate, if you're being facetious or if that is something that you just researched. And it's
because she does have a bonnet and a bucket.
So.
Congratulations for paying attention, Nate. And then doily is actually fairly large.
Ooh, that is a nice size.
So whether it's a doily, antimacassar, you've got a fairly nice size piece here. So, and then there were some little stickers that were included.
Oh, Nate Googled it. That's its official name.
Okay. Vintage Vinny's arcade card is still here. So that'll go into the lot. So that'll draw some attention.
That is fabulous, Vinny.
And some cool Doxy stickers were included, as well as another Italian coaster. So this one actually had more than 5 items, because I think some people did like little lots of stuff. So there'll be
the one I got had little lots of vintage Christmas in it.
So there's definitely going to be some good, a lot of items available. To make sure the books don't get separated from the boxes.
Well, I love the books. It's kind of fun to go back through the logs and see who got what and put things out. One of the logs I got, I thought it was kind of clever. The person had put their official sticker in. And so cool. I put my sticker in one of them too, because I thought, oh, that's kind of fun.
All right. Well, this box got me back by my set of coasters and my maxi pad. So that, and the Danish, another one of the Danish plates. So this one was Royal Copenhagen. Like this was actually, I mean, I spent money for that. So that came back. So somebody, wait a minute. This like all appears to be my own stuff. One moment. So this went to Sandy and Otto. So she took a vase that I had included and replaced it with a Japanese figure, which I guess is this one. And then she sent it.
I agree, Kathy. I think doilies had kind of a bad rap, but they're coming back. People are liking the doilies and the linens.
All right. So I will just say that Trisha from Sandy and Otto sent this to somebody. This was the one I just received yesterday or the day before. And they put a note just saying that they forgot that they had it. So there were no items. So the only thing that changed out was the one that Trisha put in. So we'll just Moving on. Like, we're just not going to comment. All right. I still have 4 more to show, so I apologize. I didn't think this would take so long.
Oh, it's kind of fun seeing what got put in these.
Yeah, so this is like kind of also giving and that's why I wanted to do it. These will get shown when I put them into eBay like next week, but I'm not gonna be able to show them in this level of detail. So like this is something, and since some of the people that actually did these boxes are here, it's kind of like, hey, you get a little recognition, and you get to see what happened to your item. Like, did it stay in? So this one went to Victoria H. She took out the vintage cookie cutters and added a blue cobalt medicine bottle. Then it went to Angela Marksberry. She took the cobalt blue bottle and added a set of Christmas cheese spreaders. Then she sent it to Fatbird Finds, who took the cheese spreaders and added a cat figurine. Then it went to Tiger. Tiger's had many of these. So Tiger then took the kitty figurine and added a purple kitty. Went to Helen Casey, who took the salt cellar and added a mosaic pin. And then she's the one that returned it back to me. So
I'm interested to see what's in there.
So we've got kind of a cool, I don't know.
I think they're little coasters.
I was going to say, would these count as coasters? They're like a set of 4.
They're shaped like little rugs, I think. And I've seen those before.
Yeah, so those are kind of cool. So these who added these? Nobody added these. I didn't include them.
So they're just an extra bonus.
That's weird. Yeah, whoever put it in there didn't put credit or didn't fill in the book, somehow. Little plush cat. Got my maxi pad back and 1 coaster. So somebody took 1 coaster, set both. And I got the magnet back. Again, magnets are not a good choice. And that's it. So it's 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, and then I do still have. Okay, that's odd. These are the coasters that I included. Both of them are here. So somebody added one of my own coasters back. So it's like somebody who had a coaster didn't want it and gave it back to me. So okay, thank you.
Dana said, no lie, when your parents are visiting for Thanksgiving and mom asks, do you have a maxi pad? Well, yes, I do, courtesy of Patrick.
Awesome. And then they'll be asking you to go to therapy after that. So that one. And so then we've got box number 14. Now this one was the one that's very heavy. So the last person that got this took it upon themselves to actually include extra stuff, because one of the rules was to keep it under £1, because it's fine. Like, a lot of people were telling me, well, I don't mind sending it on to somebody. The problem is if it got to somebody else and they didn't want to send it, because then you're starting to deal with priority mail and more costs. And I'm hoping that's not what happened, that somebody put something expensive or heavy in there and the person didn't want to ship it on. So this one, I think, and that was happening. Some people were adding notes that were saying, hey, since it's coming back to you, here's something extra to put into the fundraiser. Okay, kudos for whoever ended up wrapping all of this.
I mean, they did a stellar job.
Yeah, they took the entire box and kind of made it into its own little package. So it's like, okay, cool. So this one, even the little booklet has a little Ziploc of its own.
That is very nice.
So this one started with Auntie Christie. Okay, I forgot about this one. So she had contacted me. She wasn't able to participate in the challenge. So what she actually did was she sent me 5 new items. So she just took everything that was in the bag, in the box, and then she replaced it with all of her own stuff. So I do have 5 new things to sell, but I'd forgotten that. So
that is very nice.
All right. So she included a little crocheted pot holder.
A yellow color.
Oh, I see it's something dog related. Oh, wow.
Oh, that's a nice detail.
That's a nice size. A good weight. Nice size doxy figure. I think he might be resin, but it's a very nice detail on the little short-haired doxy.
Don might be trying to get that box.
Yeah, then we got a cool bandana. Home is where your dog is. So you've
Okay,
got all
let's see. I see a bulldog. I see. Oh, there's a little pug, a Scotty. Looks like a German Shepherd,
I think that's a dachshund underneath the German
Dachshund.
Shepherd.
Labrador, Dalmatian, West Highland Terrier. I don't know what that big dog is at the top. Is that a Mastiff?
Or Newfoundland, Saint Bernard.
Maybe, yeah. And Basset. There's Louie. That is a fun little scarf.
And then we involved lots of tape. So hold on. Entertain the troops, Katie.
And let's see what's else in the chat. I see, oh yes, beautiful dog. I agree, Linda. That's really, really fantastic. And you know, Tia Fey, and you were talking about some of the boxes falling apart while they traversed the country. It is amazing that so many of them came back to Patrick in the original boxes, because I got a box that unfortunately I think the post office probably had a little incident with, and I felt so sorry for the box I got. I'm like, oh, you poor box, I got to replace you. Like I was talking to the box like it was a person. And then I packaged him all up, and I mean, he's just a box thing, but you know, and then I shipped them off to the next person. So yeah, it is pretty amazing that some of them have survived so long. Yeah, that big dog does look like Dilbert's dog, Zena. Oh, yes, there's a little corgi, Abby. Oh, is that 101 Dalmatian?
I would assume it's 101 Dalmatian. It's a little pin. It's a little brooch.
That's cute.
More modern. And then a Disney keychain with Pluto. I love my dog. The Pluto keychain with Pluto's little charms, and then Pluto's etched into the back.
That's fun.
That's cute. So yeah, so she apologized that she wasn't able to participate in the actual moving around of the stuff, but you know, she kept the spirit on it, and she gave some new stuff, and these will add nicely to the set of boxes that I put up on today.
And Kathy, these were boxes that were sent out for the Just One More Dachshund fundraiser, but they were geocaching boxes that traveled the country. 20 went out originally from Patrick's sale. You had to be at Patrick's sale to actually get one of the original boxes, and then people could get them and just send them all across the way. And I think it's kind of fun. I love the idea of them spreading across not only our Olympic community, but other communities as well, because that's kind of fun too, to see what other people got. If there were other people that actually did get them.
Right. Yes, I know that when Dawn had a box, she was starting with the Doxy community. So, it was all about trying to get the word out, not of me. It was getting the word out of the fundraiser so that more people would participate. And we make more money for the Doxies, which we did make more money for the Doxies. So in the big picture, it worked.
Yes.
All right, so this is,
we need our help.
So this one started with Beth. I don't know if she's still here, Carolina Princess. So this was Beth's box. So she took the magnet. Oh, she took a magnet. And she put in a Washington, D.C. souvenir spoon. Then it went to Elderly Poodle, who took the tiki appetizer forks and replaced it with a moon and star toothpick holder. Then it went to Michelle at Mermaid Cove, who took the toothpick holder and replaced it with a quartz bracelet. Then it went to Michelle. It went to Peterson, who took the quartz bracelet and put in an owl salt and pepper shaker and a bag of vintage marbles. And she's the one who sent it back to me. So we've got the cool salt and pepper shakers.
Oh, aren't those fun? They're little winking owls.
Yeah, little winking owls. Just like, Barb needs these in her life.
Barb does.
Yeah,
and they're kind of lustery a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. Just I think there's a high gloss glaze, but they do have the gold accents on them. So those are kind of cool. And then the bag of marbles. I know nothing about marbles.
Now, some of those might glow, Patrick.
Oh, well, let's see. Do I have? Yeah, I happen to have that still here.
Okay, let's see if any of them glow.
I think I might take one of the bags. Hold on.
There was a big jar of marbles in an antique store the other day, and there was a really big orange one that had cadmium in it, and it glowed bright orange, and I wanted it. And the lady says, "Oh, I'm sorry, those aren't for sale, but you are like the 9th person that has asked today." And she said, "You can buy the whole jar for $150." I said, "Oh, no, thank you, but thanks for checking anyway."
Okay, not looking like anything's jumping out.
No, I don't think those guys glow, but do look out for marbles because sometimes they can.
Yeah, I never
flare
would have thought of
faster.
that. Yeah, no, I'm trying to like look at my hand too. It's dark. I think it's dark enough. I could have seen it, but I didn't see any. So that was
And
cool.
Karen saying, "Sorry, I took the brooch from Helen Casey and added the Swedish coasters. I missed the book."
All right, so this one came back to me with a coaster that I had included, plus the maxi pad, plus my coasters. So still has 5 items. 3 of them I started it with, and then salt and pepper shakers and the marbles. Cool.
Very fun.
And it's all about just, and it's about having fun. Like I do want to eventually sell these so that we end up making money for the fundraiser, but I was glad when people were commenting how much fun they were having.
And a lot of people are mentioning those are Shawnee owls, and they very well could be
Oh, okay.
Shawnee.
All right, and then this is the one. This is another one. This wins the award for being the heaviest box that came back. This was almost 2 pounds, but it's still in the original. It's still in the original box. So they
that's amazing.
They shoved some heavy stuff in here, and it's bulging. So let me open this one up.
Carrie, what box number did you have? Do you remember?
Yeah, and some people had more than one, so that's also difficult. So let's see.
Because the first box I sent went out to Carrie. I know that.
Okay. Did I say who this box came from?
No, you did not.
Okay. I'm going to continue to say that I'm not going to say who it came from because this is another person who did not circulate it. So there was a note that says, "Please forgive me." And what they did was they replaced it with all their own stuff. Now, I will just say, everyone that won the chance to get one, they were asked to confirm if they wanted one, and everyone said yes. But life happens, so at some point, and that might have been what happened to the ones that are missing. Somebody got it and then forgot they had it. So this person replaced it with a very nice,
ooh, that's a nice fish.
Paperweight. It does not appear to be signed, but it's actually really nicely done. Some jewelry. Got a necklace.
Ooh, that's pretty. Now, again, I'm going to ask the $1 million question. Do the stones glow?
I check.
Maybe not.
Yeah, I was thinking that one might, but I don't think it does.
It looked like it. It was worth it.
It's like Eddie. I think it's just the way they are translucent. So I think it's just the light is going through them. Another bead, another faux pearl necklace. A
that is very nice.
Expandable bracelet. A cool ceramic pencil holder.
I think so. It has frogs on it, which is interesting. I don't think it's an ashtray or some sort of.
It's supposed to be an ashtray. It's a little short to be a pencil holder, but it could be. Another beaded necklace. So again, she got in the spirit of things that she's providing me a lot of items to be able to sell. Washington,
I know people like hard rock.
A little Buddha figurine.
Oh, he's probably got some nice weight to him.
He does. Can't tell if he's got anything signed on the bottom. He looks like he's got a little bit of age to him.
I don't know how you date those. I've seen so many of them over the years.
I think this is soapstone.
That is lovely, that giraffe.
Yeah, so that's actually beautiful. These plates keep coming back to me, but I think she included this because these do have value. So she sent it back to me to sell.
And they're beautiful blue and white plates, but they do take the right person that likes blue and white.
We had something not survive, so I'm not going to show that. We have a shattered piece of porcelain.
I think sometimes things get kicked around like a soccer ball.
And then this is I actually included this coaster in my original shipment, so that came back. So, okay, so there's a lot of stuff in here, some really nice items in here. So again, I don't want to call out somebody. Life happens, so I appreciate that this, what I'll do is I'll include the names of everyone that donated without getting into this level of detail, because the idea is not to shame anybody or to try and bring attention, because we all get stuck in different things and things happen. So at least I got them back. There's a very possibility I will try and shame the people that if I never find the 9 missing ones, if I ever figure out who has them, there might be some shaming involved, but that was everything. So that
and is Brian is asking you what is propped up behind you on the piano.
Oh, yeah, I haven't figured out what to do with this. This I picked up actually last year, and it's a Colonial Williamsburg Christmas verse that's been lacquered. It's a reproduction that's been like lacquered onto just a little lightweight balsa wood board, and it's the Christmas verse, Season's Compliments, and it just kind of fits the theme of my piano with the Yuletide decor that's going on. It's a little small for this. I think last year I integrated it into it. I didn't like the way that looked, so I'm there. Like I said, some things are going to be retiring out of my collection. But yeah, so that's what you're seeing peek out every once in a while. I had last night, I actually had a tea light holder that was sitting behind me, and it fit perfectly. And that's why I bought it, because it was the exact height. It had some nice width. It looked scale wise. It looked really good on the piano, but it was modern. And it just kept looking, it kept mocking me every time I walked by it. Like, you know what? I just don't think I'm going to be able to keep that. So I also don't think I'm going to be able to sell it, because it's very heavy and it's very large. And it's not particularly valuable. So it's like the idea to be able to sell it at a live sale. It's just, it costs too much to ship.
It might be a donation type thing.
Yeah. So Tim is asking if the piano still plays. I have to move I don't know if I've ever shown these. Have I ever shown you these?
I don't think you have, but those are gorgeous. Those are the window.
So this is a window sash rest. And these are the only ones I have in my collection. I would like to buy more, but they are very expensive. They're very hard to come by. But sometimes they're in the shapes of heads, like people's heads. Sometimes they're in the shape of animal heads. These are the paw ones. And so I have these two are sitting on the side of the piano on either side, but of the soundboard. So I had to move them to be able to lift the keyboard cover.
Now, do you play, Patrick?
I do not. My daughter did learn to play on this piano, but I do not. Yeah, it has been. I don't think it's been tuned since I moved 3 years ago. So
it's got a very rich sound.
It's actually considered a vertical grand because it's not. It looks like an upright. Most people just call it an upright, but the harp of the piano goes all the way up to the top. So it's the same size harp as a baby grand piano. So it has very good tone.
My grandmother has a baby grand, a Steinway that she saved up for right out of music school. And it's a beautiful mahogany piano that's in her house now. And I just think it's stunning. And
yes, you are correct, Water Baby. It is quarter-sawn tiger oak. I think that's actually how I ever made it onto Scott's radar from the old Curiosity Shop. Is he just kept commenting on my piano?
He wants to buy it.
Like, I just love your piano. And I'm like, okay. And literally one time, it was fairly early on for my channel. It might have been during COVID. I don't remember. I suddenly was getting a bunch of people. They were all on one video that I'd posted, and I had maybe 6 or 7 people came on and commented that piano is gorgeous. I love that wood. Like, how old is your piano? And I'm like, why are people suddenly asking me about my piano? Like, I'd already posted many videos, and they were all, and somebody finally said, oh, Scott sent me over from the old Curiosity Shop. He was talking about your piano. And I had embarrassingly had not seen that video. So I had no idea that he was talking about me. And so he was, and that I played the video, and that's all he was. He was showing something that was quarter-sawn oak. And he's like, if you want to see one of the best examples of quarter-sawn oak out there, go to Trusty Huckster Mercantile videos. He puts it's in the background of every video he does. You'll see it right away. And that's what people, it's hilarious.
It's beautiful wood, and that quarter sawn tiger oak is some of the best wood in my opinion. It's strong, it's sturdy, it's just amazing.
And Melinda's got it right on there was a couple of comments in here. Like Book was saying she had to leave hers and no one wanted it. Melinda's saying it's sad with pianos. And that's actually kind of the issue. My piano, like I said, it hasn't even been tuned since I've been here. Now, I will say on occasion, because I do participate in musicals, I do not play myself, but I've had people come over and actually record music for me or play or help me prepare for an audition. And it's totally playable. Like they'll always complain, you need to get this tuned. And it just hasn't been a priority, but I primarily have it as a piece of decor. Like for those that have not seen my entire home tour, I'm sitting on the bench of the piano at my dining room table. So like this is not a huge area that I've just got this span. Like this is literally, if I want to sit at the head of my dining room table, I'm sitting at the piano because I don't have a space. For me, it's just a beautiful backdrop. The way my house is set up, like I have a straight shot to the front door. So when people walk in my front door, this view is one of the first things they see. So it's like, to me, this is me. The piano predates the stoneware collection. I got the piano when our daughter started. We moved to the house in Batavia, and we picked up the piano, fell in love with it. Because of the way it looked. Like the piano place was, they had all other kinds of pianos, and they were even recommending others. They're like, well, these others might be easier to keep in tune or, easier to move. I'm like, nope, this is what I want. Because it was beautiful. And so then I'm like, okay, I've got this huge piece of furniture. What do I put on top of it? And then I came across my first piece of decorated stoneware. I'm like, ooh, that works. And then we had a Civil War design quilt, and we like just the pewter collection, like all that stuff started building up around the piano. And now the piano is just a piece of furniture that looks good, and it displays like better than a bookcase ever would.
Oh, it's gorgeous.
It displays my collection, in my opinion, beautifully, and then it looks great for Christmas. So yeah, it's one of those, like, I'm never like, Dana's taking.
I know Dana's always wanting to buy stuff from your piano.
Absolutely. And most people want to buy this pottery off top too. So it's one of those cases that, like, even the pottery, some of the stoneware, there's notes in some of the stoneware. So because my daughter is going to be the one that has to deal with all of this once I'm gone. And I put notes in some of them being like, do not give to Goodwill. Like this cost over $1,000. Like, do not, but these are the ones to protect and find someone to sell or buy. All the rest of these, there are plenty of them that could just go to Goodwill. They'll still make somebody's day. I don't think I've got much of my collection left that's not valuable, but some are less valuable than others. So it's like, she just needs to know, because there's a lot of stuff that I have that isn't particularly valuable. She's not gonna be able to deal with all of it. And I've had enough friends that had to deal with, getting to that age where they're dealing with their parents' estates. And if the parents aren't around to help, they're stuck with, I've had so many people ask me, hey, can you just come like look through and just make sure there's not something super valuable that we need to not give to Goodwill? And I'm like, I'll do my best, but I don't know everything. I remember one friend, I was at her house for 9 hours, and all I was doing was just Googling and, worth pointing and eBaying, like every, like, Google ID, like all these things, Google Lens, trying to figure out what she had. And they had some good stuff. But it was just like, I don't know how to help you sell it, because like there's a lot of furniture and it's difficult.
Well, I follow a channel. I think all of you guys in the vinyl world will probably know who he is, Michael Fremer. He is a very, very well-to-do audio expert and very highly respected and very opinionated too. But he's got an amazing record collection. I mean, he's in the hi-fi club, so he's upper echelon of hi-fi, talking $40,000, $50,000 stereo equipment and systems and all that kind of stuff. But he's very knowledgeable on pressings of records, and he was just talking about one of his videos about one of his friends who has labeled their collection, because he has some very rare Beatles first pressings and other pressings that are worth several thousand, that if he were to go, what is his wife, who doesn't care about vinyl or know anything about vinyl, going to do with it all? And so he's marked in all the records, hey, this one's valuable. Okay, this one's not. And I thought about that the other day, that maybe at some point I should go through and like mark records, because I have a few, not that I have tons of valuable records, but I have a few original presses from the 50s that can command, several $100s. And those probably do need to be marked so that they're not just mixed in with like a
exactly they're going to get
compilation album.
Yeah, they're just going to get mixed in, because depending on who is responsible for your estate, even like, I mean, if I could get George to come take care of my estate as I'm gone, like, okay, I'd rest easier in my cremated urn. But, in general, you're not going to have that luck. And I do have some really weird collections, and not I've eclectic collections. Like, I don't have like body parts or anything like weird. It's just, you're not going to get one expert that's going to come in. The expert that's going to know about the stoneware is not going to know about my art glass. And it's like probably the most expensive piece overall. The most expensive piece of my collection is actually a piece of art glass. So it's kind of like, okay, so then you find an art glass collector that's going to be able to properly identify all of that. Well, they're not going to know the Austrian porcelain, so it's just one of those cases that I got to help. So like Tim was saying, put the notes inside. The other thing, and I was not ignoring you. I was trying to pull this app because I couldn't remember the name of it. It's called Catalog It. And of course, I haven't been in it in a while, so I have to log in. I can't remember my password, but it's
that's always a struggle.
Yeah, so it's an app for your phone. It's called Catalog It, and the idea behind this is, see, it's not remembering who I am. The idea behind this is you actually it's kind of like what a museum could use to curate their collection. And you put photographs of your item, and you put as many photographs in there as you want, and you could put when you bought it, who made it, what its measurements were, how much it weighed, how much you paid for it versus how much it's worth, because those are two very different things.
Yes.
We've gotten into those conversations too, where it's like, okay, well, if you find one of your $100 records, but you found it at a garage sale for 50 cents, well, does that mean you shouldn't sell it for $100 if that's what it's worth? Of course, you're going to sell it for $100.
Yeah.
Like, why on earth would you not sell it for $100?
Exactly.
You got a good deal. You're the one scouring the garage sales trying to find the dang thing.
I mean, you put in the hard work. You got to get paid for it.
Absolutely. So it's like, so it gives you a chance to put all that. You can put in your receipts if you got it through, because it is designed for you. It's not a free app. You have to pay for it. And I'm not sponsored by it in any way, but it's really designed for even like low end museums to be able to do this for their collection management. That it's like, if they don't want to pay for the super expensive software that's available, if you just want to do your acquisitions through this, it would be a place, because then you can make folders. Like, I've got folders specifically for my World's Fair collection. I've got folders for my glass. I've got folders for the stoneware. And like, you can get into as many subfolders as you want if your collection justifies it. So I'm sure there are others out there, but Catalog It was the one that I had found in a museum. I found a website that was like about museum stuff, and they were recommending the best software for different purposes. And this is the one they recommended. That is amazing. It's not super intuitive, I will say. Like, so it's not like, I was super excited when I got it. I'm like, oh, I'm going to just put all my stuff in. Yeah, it's not that simple. Like, it's I'm not going to say it's not intuitive, but there's a lot of steps. It takes a little bit to actually do it. So I have not put even like a tenth of my collections in yet, but knowing that it's there, it is a goal that when I have some downtime and I can start focusing on that, then I can give the password to my daughter, so that then she'll know that's exactly, I can go into this, be like, okay, $50, $20, $100, $5,000. Okay, we need to identify that.
that one's special.
Find the vase. It's like, where is that one? And maybe a little bit more permanent than, trust me, as I said, and Tim's doing the same thing. You put your notes in there, because I've got things that can have notes. But some of my collection, I can't, like, I'm not going to have like a Post-it note sitting on there.
I can't do that with my Coca-Cola.
Yeah, you got to do something that's a little bit more permanent. So if people know other ideas, I'd love it. But yeah, so Dana, it's just, I never really talked about it, just because I never really thought about it. But based on those types of things, and again, getting to the age that I need to think about it. I'm not going to be retiring for a while, but I do only have a daughter. That's it. She's going to be stuck with all of this, and she's going to have her own life, whatever she's doing. She's not going to deal with it. And I'm looking at what I will have to do when my parents pass. And, at some point you just want to make it as easy as you can. And if I can like do some planning, and put some organization into it ahead of time just simplify, because I don't want her to be hopefully mourning my death, but also spitting on my grave, because then she's got to like clear out my, my attic and all this other stuff. And it's a huge headache.
And I will say, one of the best things I've learned is when a parent or a grandparent or somebody wants you to take something that's special and meaningful, take it when they give it to you, because sometimes it might disappear. My grandma taught me that early on. Her mother had a beautiful ring, and unfortunately, it got stolen. And her mom had for months been saying, you should take this, you should have it, I want you to have it. And she said, no, Mom, you love it, you should keep it, and wear it. And then it disappeared when they had a break-in at the house. And this was back in the day when people didn't lock their doors, and it was sad that ring went missing, and we've talked about that for so long. But now that Grandma's going through things, and when she says, hey, I want you to have this, where would you like it? And it's something I would want to add to my collections. I've been taking it home and cherishing it and just enjoying it, because there's no point in keeping it in a box,
Absolutely. I totally agree with Karen saying it too. It's great advice. And it's something that sometimes and there's been, shows that make jokes about it. I mean, great Gilmore Girls episode, like they were given Post-it notes that here, walk around and mark things that you want.
Yep.
Sometimes the people make jokes about it, but I do remember when my ex-wife, when her grandmother, her grandmother was looking at possibly having to go into a home. They were trying to like kind of downsize. She'd been in this, she'd been on her own for years, and she had a lot of stuff that was in storage, and she had a basement that she no longer could access because she couldn't do stairs. So there was just a lot of stuff down there. And so when that stuff started going through, family members did start taking some things, and it was fine. But then they got to the point where she had a curio cabinet and had a bell collection. And my ex-wife's, her mother, my former mother-in-law, was like, okay, we need to clear this up. We need to get rid of some of this stuff, because and literally she's like in front of her mother, she's like, I don't want to deal with this once you're gone. Like, we need to get rid of some of this stuff. And I'm like, no, she walks by this every day. She remembers every bell that she got. She knows when she was with her husband of like 62 years. She remembers exactly what trip they were on when they got it. She remembers which anniversary he gave her one. Like, this woman doesn't have a lot of joy left in her life. Don't take the frickin' bells. Yep. Like, none of us necessarily saw anything in there that we would want, but we're not going to just send it all to Goodwill or start taking it away if it's going to still bring her joy. So it's finding that balance. But like, my mother had a wedding ring, or she had a cocktail ring, but in the cocktail ring were stones from her mother's wedding ring. And so what was supposed to happen was that ring was supposed to then go to my daughter, and she lost the ring. And it was like a big deal, because now suddenly, she was upset that she lost the ring because it was an expensive ring. But then it was also like, okay, that was like one of the last heirlooms we had from my grandmother, who did not have a lot of money. So what she had was what she had from her wedding ring. And so when it was gone, it's like, gone forever. Okay, now what do you do? So you don't want to make people feel bad, but if you can save things and protect them, and have everyone, and sometimes the people want you to enjoy them because they're not enjoying them as much anymore. So then if you're like, oh yeah, I added it to my collection, I walk by it every day, I think of you every time I walk by it. Old people love that.
And I found with my grandma, I mean, she has wonderful china services that she collected over the years and got a lot for her wedding, and she still has a list of it all. But now, she's not able to have all the big dinner parties that she once had. And so now I'm taking some of it because I enjoy doing that kind of thing and serving. And I'm telling her, oh, Grandma, I used your juice pitcher from your wedding today. Or I got out the Spode china that my grandma so carefully collected. And I love, I have a full service of 14 dinner plates of Spode china, and all of that's not even half of the Spode that we have. My mom has more of it at the house. She collected everything, like pitchers and casserole dishes and the whole service. And it's wonderful. And it's so neat to actually enjoy that stuff and show Grandma, like, hey, look what I used today. And I think that brings her a lot of joy.
I'm sure it does, because again, she'll still have the memories of when she got that juice pitcher, and now she knows, because instead of just sitting in a box or sitting in a counter in a cabinet that she can't reach anymore, that somebody's actually using it. And not everything is going to always have a life. Like Water Baby saying, best time is to show when your children show an interest. And my daughter's not showing an interest in any of my stuff. And that is fine. Like, I have no issue with that. So like what we're trying to deal with right now is things not necessarily, like, I guess technically they're collections, but it's like more like I mentioned about the Christmas stuff. There's Christmas tree ornaments that we got on trips as a family. There's things that she remembers, or that, she would always help put Christmas decorations up, in her own way. I just had to redo her part of the tree yesterday, but anyway, she means well, but whatever. There's things that she just remembers that aren't even necessarily valuable. Like she wants the Disney ornaments, because when we would go to Disney World, anytime we took a trip, even when I would go by myself, I would buy an ornament to commemorate that trip. And for Disney, we had multiple trips, so we had multiple ornaments. So she's like, she wants them. They're not valuable. She was born in 1999, so they're not even vintage, but they're memorable. They're meaningful to her. So when we started splitting things up after the divorce, we started making boxes of like, okay, what I'm going to store away that at this point, my daughter doesn't have her own house. She hasn't started a family. She's not ready for that yet, but I'm not going to get rid of it because I know it's important to her. I've got books just like coming out of my ears in this place, so they're all hers because she loves books and books are meaningful to us. I don't want to get rid of them. I don't have the space for them, but I make room for them because at some point she's going to want them and hopefully she'll find space. And if she has to edit at that point, well, she can edit. But for now, I'm not going to traumatize her. She's already struggling through the divorce. I'm not going to traumatize her. Like, yep, getting rid of everything that has any special meaning to you. So yeah, exactly. Yeah. Professor Cat, they're valuable to her. And in some cases, it's the memories that make it valuable, not the actual monetary value.
Yeah. And sometimes the items are just special. And it's nice when you have a place to store them. I made a guitar with my grandfather who taught me woodworking, and I don't have room for it here. It's absolutely gorgeous. We spent all summer working on it, and I'm lucky that my mom has a spot for it because I wish I had room, but I don't here. So I'm glad that it's a safe spot at the house, and when I'm ready for it, I'll have a great place for it.
Excellent. And Tiger's, giving a shout out for when you're talking about using the dishes. I will say for my quote unquote Thanksgiving dinner, again, it wasn't particularly special, but I did have the ribs that I'd not had before. But when I went to plate it, I'm like, wait, I am going to pull out. I have one, like the only like pseudo kitsch thing that I have, probably the only mid-century modern thing I have in this entire place. I've been collecting a set of Red Wing china, the Bob White quail pattern. And so I pulled out my Bob White dinner plate and I put all my food on there and I'm, using that. And yes, it's going to go in the dishwasher when I'm done.
I put a lot of stuff in the dishwasher. The only thing I don't is my cast iron. There's debate with the Spode. Now, this is interesting because I'd love to hear from you in the chat. I have the Spode Christmas service, as I mentioned, and my grandmother always put it in the dishwasher, but it is transferware. And so I hand wash everything. Now, just the Christmas plates. Everything else, my regular dishes and stuff go in the dishwasher. But that's always a hard thing because my grandmother always was big on dishwashers because they're sanitary. So then there's this whole other thing about, well, do you put the Spode in there or do you not if you have people over and are you running it? So I don't know. But I still like to hand wash those things. And then my nice knives always get hand washed.
I think what Susan's hitting on is right, is that it needs to be well glazed and it needs to start in perfect condition. Because if you've got something that's crazed or with a crack, a dishwasher is going to destroy it. But the Spode is a hard paste porcelain that's going to be well glazed. That should handle. I'm a little more concerned. Not concerned. Like if I was concerned, I'd just hand wash it. Probably the Red Wing, I'm not sure is as sturdy as porcelain, like it's more pottery. But it is fully glazed, so it should be able to go in there. So I'm just going to kind of watch it. It's just one of those, like, I think I may have shared this one time. My daughter was here with her boyfriend at the time, and we had dinner, and we're putting stuff in the dishwasher. Like they're helping me, because she was well raised. She was helping me clean up after dinner, so she was loading the dishwasher, and he had a piece of my Hazel Atlas crisscross. One of my mixing bowls in his hands, and he's like, oh, I'm assuming this doesn't go in the dishwasher. And before I could even answer, my daughter's like, everything goes in the dishwasher here. And I'm like, wait a minute, am I being judged in my own home? And she's just like, well, no, she was raised the same way, but like, it's just like what Brian said, use the good stuff it's one of those, I'm not going to have it if I can't use it regularly. And I'm sorry, I'm not going to sit there and hand wash everything. I'm very proud of the fact that when I go to bed at night, my sink is empty.
Yep.
Empty. There is nothing in it. There are no drying dishes. There's nothing because it's all gone in the dishwasher. It's like I'm not that tidy. It's just that I put everything in the dishwasher. And if I can't do that, it changes the way I want to live. And then it's like, well, then why am I trying to live with something I don't enjoy when I use it? I just wouldn't use it. So, for now, I washed it. And I think somebody just said it and I lost it. There was something about the gold trim. So Susan was saying that her spoke of the dishwasher, but hers doesn't have gold trim.
Okay, yeah,
I would
mine doesn't
probably be
either.
more concerned about the gold trim just of wearing off. And only because now that I've handled older china for so long, that's like, okay, it clearly rubs off. Like it's, just stuff that from handling that clearly goes away. But I've seen very old sets of dishes, particularly something to the quality of Spode, that there is no damage to the transferware. There's no damage. Like it's perfectly in perfect condition. It's always that gold or the platinum because it's added after, so it's like, it's not under the glaze. So that would just be the thing for taking care of it.
But I do love putting things in the dishwasher, and I'm very big on the empty sink before I go to bed. That's just something that when I wake up, I don't want to have dishes in the sink because it just is not mentally right for me. It just is stressful. So I'm always making sure everything's tidy before I go to bed. It's just I saw someone, I don't know who it was, but they were talking about the 5-minute clean or the 5-minute tidy. And for some reason that stuck with me and I've done it ever since. But they talked about taking 5 minutes of your day in sections, like not all, 30 minutes at one time that you would take to clean something, but 5 minutes before bed to either put the dishes away or 5 minutes before you do something to straighten up the couch or 5 minutes, just in little spurts when you have 5 extra minutes to do something. And I've done that ever since, and it's made a massive difference in my life about keeping things clean.
Well, it's one of the cases where I was becoming mentally overwhelmed for the fundraiser because up until the fundraiser, I got into the last stretch, everything was basically, I was putting in milk crates, I was putting in boxes. Unfortunately, a couple things got damaged and I have to deal with that, but it was away. It was in the way, but it was away. It was like one room that I then had to deal with. Once that started becoming unearthed and I had to start lining it up for the sale, I was hating my life. Like I couldn't walk through my living room. It became a hazard to like do anything because everything was half the stuff that was donated to me was breakable. So it's like everything was just laid on my floor. There was packing material everywhere. There were old boxes everywhere. I hate old boxes. It's like, but I had to keep the old boxes because out of cost, I couldn't replace all of this shipping material that I got. So a lot of people got used shipping material. And some of my customers are probably like, what is this? I've never seen Trusty use. But I'm like, yeah, you get a little card that says this was recycled material because, hey, I had to find the box that fit that huge statue, right? That, I actually started using UPS for a lot of my shipments because some of the boxes were so big because of some of the things that got donated. So you do what you got to do. But I got to a point where I'm like, I need to step back because I've got to get this tidied up. I need to put this away. I just have to have some control. I can't say I'm an overly organized, overly tidy, fastidious person. I do have a thought there's a place for everything and everything in its place. And I do believe that. And I follow it like 80% of the time. But if I'm tidying up, there's a good 50-50 chance the tidying up is just making a nicer stack out of my magazines or a nicer stack out of my notes from work or whatever. It's still tidying because now my notes are all in one little place as opposed to spread out all over my desk. But it's like some people think I put out this impression that I'm like super fastidious and super whatever. I'm not. Like I care and I do think about that kind of stuff. But in certain times, life happens. So I don't know why.
I admit I'm a total Monica. I can't help it. That's just how I live my life, except for when I get any type of shipments or YouTube videos are being filmed. My counter looks like an absolute disaster and it bothers me. But I can't do anything about it because I'm like, at least I have a neat pile though. I'm like, this pile is for this pile is for that. I mean, there's a project going on, so it's more like okay. But after a couple of weeks, I'm like, no, okay, this has got to go somewhere. I can't deal with it anymore.
A great odd couple reference that some people may not even recognize, but yes, Junior, are you a Felix or are you an Oscar? And I would probably say I lean more toward Felix. That again, there have been times where I've had people come to my house unexpected, and I'm like, oh my god, my house is a mess, and they're looking around, they're like, then I'm in the wrong house because your house is perfect. I'm like, yeah, but it's not like, there's just certain things that you like and, and what you want to control. And so sometimes it does. It's like a control. I'm a little bit of a control freak, but like third act, the amen, the tidy piles, that's to a certain extent, that is still cleaning up. And then I will know. And like, I'm the one that has to make the piles because I'm also like, I'm a visual learner. I'm also an audio learner too, but like I need to have made that pile because then 3 weeks from now, I'd be like, okay, I needed the schedule for the Wisconsin trade show. I saw it last when I put it in the stack with my receipts from my Kansas trip. And so I can go to that stack and I'll find it. But if somebody else had just put stuff in the stacks, well, I have no idea. Like I won't have that mental image. I don't have a photographic memory by any means, but I do make those connections. And I will then go through, and I've amazed people in my, when I used to have an office, a desk at an office, and I could do it. Like they would see like these different stacks and like in drawers and file folders, and I could just turn and pull out. They're like, how did you know that that's where it was? Like, well, sometimes you master what you got. There you go. That's perfect. I'm a clean person, but I live in a bit of clutter. That is a perfect summary for me as well.
And see, I like clean, and I'm a Monica, but I love.
We'll keep Tim away from open flame. So okay, but I love that, Tim.
I love a maximalist look. So while I like it to be clean, I like things to be around. I can't stand an empty space. It's very boring to me. So I need things that are visually appealing. And I like the idea of being surrounded by things that you love and that make you happy. Not that it's just sort of, it's like people that move into an apartment. They're like, a year later, I finally decorated my bedroom. It's like, okay, well, I would have done that right away because those are things I spend a lot of time. Like I think you spend like half of your life in your bedroom, or if not more, So being surrounded by those things that make you happy are really important, I think.
Well, it's the whole idea, like you just said it, and I don't really think about it this much, but I've been hearing it more recently, I think, because now I think about it, I hear it more. The idea about being a minimalist versus a maximalist. And I think Brian just made a comment about that too. Or somebody else did. Anyway, your backdrop and my backdrop are like perfect examples of like a controlled maximalist. Because I could have a gallery style and just have, my most expensive piece of stoneware smack in the middle. I could have little spotlights, aiming at it, and even decorate a little bit for Christmas. And that would be beautiful and I would enjoy it. But it's like, no, I like having a little bit more. You could have your best Coca-Cola frame, with a colored border around it and again centered, and that'd be the only thing. And people would think it'd be gorgeous. But to me, it looks so much better that you've got that variety. And I've got a friend who just bought a new house. And so he's in the process at this point. He's trying to like he has furniture from his old place. So he's trying to like fit old stuff that fits in the new place. I'm like, dude, you're just going to buy more new furniture. Like at some point, you either have to accept the fact it's not going to fit right, or you just need to buy new furniture. And one of the things that I had not known about him is that his idea of filling a wall is one picture.
Oh, that's like my grandma.
And so when he made a comment, he's just like, this house doesn't have enough walls. And I'm like, how many walls do you need? I'm sorry, what? And he's like, well, no, I've got all these pictures, and my old place had more, and I'd never seen his old place. My old place had more walls. I'm like, I don't understand. And he was like, what he had was a lot more. This is a little bit more of an open, not quite open concept, but like kind of leaning toward that. Whereas other was very compartmentalized. So like every room had the four walls of the door. So like you had a partial wall, and then you had a partial wall next to the window, and then another partial wall on the other window. And he treated those all as separate walls, and each wall got one picture. And I'm like, well, that's boring as hell. And I think I offended him. But, it's just like my aesthetic. I'm trying to help him decorate, the best I can with what he has. And I'm like, my aesthetic is not matching yours. Like to me, let's put 3 of these together and put them. I was like, no.
Yeah, it's like, let's make a
he wants
gallery
to
wall.
see one thing. He's like, no, I want people to see that picture. And I'm like, well, they can still see it, but then like get the bonus of 2 others. But he
Yeah,
didn't see
and
it
I
that
like
way.
the idea of when you create a gallery wall. To me, at least, I like that my eye is moving around and it always has something to look at with a main focal point. Now, when you go into my grandmother's house, when they lived in Cape Girardeau, Missouri, they were still in that 50s style. Grandma still is that way of decorating, where you'd have one picture on the wall. So you go into their main living room and they had a couch and a very long wall. And there was one, I mean, it was a nice sizable piece of art that my great grandmother had painted. She was a painter, and that was hanging there. And then you go up the stairs, and there was one picture on the stair wall, and then one picture in front of the piano. And I don't remember any other pictures there. I don't even think there was one in the dining room. And grandma had all of this beautiful art that she had curated, and of course didn't hang it up because they, one picture on one wall. So when she moved here, my mom and I convinced her to do a grouping of 3, which was a very big deal. But we had her do a grouping of 3 above her couch, and it looks lovely, and she likes it. And I'm like, it's all what you like, and there's different styles for everybody. But I love the idea of having multiple things on a wall.
Well, one of the things in this, the same guy. So before I really realized that this was his issue, he had a very large painting, probably 3 feet, maybe a little bit longer in length, and then maybe 2 feet tall. It's very large. So he needed help hanging it. And so he's like, well, I want to put it on that wall. And he said, I want to put it on that wall above the couch. Well, he has a very, very, very long wall. And then the couch is a sectional, which kind of goes into the corner. So I'm like, okay, so on the wall above the couch to me was then centered above the couch. So I guess the wall was very long, but I wasn't centering it on the entire length of the wall. So I go to hang it. And he's like, well, you're not in the middle. So I'm like, oh, do I need to move a little over to the left, right? Which way do I go? And he's just like, well, no, we need to move it like 3 feet. He's like, you're not in the middle of the wall. Like, whoa, whoa, whoa. So we figured out where the middle of the wall was. And it would have meant that the painting would have been like 2 feet of it, or maybe a foot of it would have been over the couch, and the other 2 feet would have just been kind of like in dead space. And I'm like, this looks ridiculous. And he's like, but it's center of the wall. I'm like, well, no, if you send it over the couch, you could then treat the other wall as a separate wall. And he still has yet to hang anything there because he can't get to that point. He just can't recognize that because the wall literally is probably 20 feet long. So I'm like,
oh, wow, that's a big wall.
like, it's a massive, it's like, again, there was extensions and stuff. So it's like this huge open concept. And then the sofa is like 10 feet long. I mean, he is one of the biggest sectionals that I've ever seen. And so it's like, and it's still only taking up like half the wall. So I'm like, you can't just have one picture on this massive length. And he doesn't understand that. And so we've hung this picture. And now what I learned is he's getting it from his mother, because then he's like, the next time I was there to help him, he's like, yeah, my mother thinks the picture's in the wrong spot. I'm like, okay, if you want me to help you move it, I will move it. He's like, no, I'm thinking I'm kind of getting used to it. I'm like, I'm converting you. There is.
We should have another hashtag, Patrick, about we've got the thumbs up for trunk down. We should have the thumbs up for multiple pictures on the wall.
And it was just one of those. It's like a couple of people were talking about like modernism, and totally modernists. I get like that's where you are. If you are a true minimalist, you would have a 20-foot wall. It would be painted white, and you would hang a postage stamp in the middle of it, and that would be your art.
Yeah,
and I can respect that. Like that is an absolute aesthetic, not really one I care for that much, but I get it. And like you think of the movies from the late 80s, 90s, like that whole, super sleek, super whatever. I get it. But it's just trying to find the balance, and then also find with what you have. Like a lot of stuff that particularly when I was younger, like I didn't have high quality stuff. So it's like, how do you turn that into making it look a little bit more special? And sometimes grouping it with like one really expensive item and then 2 less, it kind of makes the whole group look better. And I did that with my glass for the longest time. Some of my glass is very expensive, and it would be sitting on a shelf next to Target glass because, it was, I needed this right scale. So I just bought a little like Hobby Lobby paperweight and set it right next to it, and it looked beautiful. And I've got a $10 paperweight sitting in front of a $500 vase, and no one questioned it. So it's like
Yeah,
you can do a
because
lot.
it blends. It looks
Absolutely.
good together. I mean, I definitely see the modernist appeal. When you get into industrial, it's interesting because I was doing research on this the other day. I love the vintage industrial style, but when you get into the world of lofts, where people are truly doing industrial in its most raw and pure form in the lofts, usually people are very minimalistic with that, which I find interesting. So I was searching different terms and I found that there's sort of that minimalist industrial look where they might have a very plain long leather Chesterfield with maybe just one of those old factory carts in the middle as a coffee table, a couple of leather club chairs, and then probably a TV, and that's about it. And then they have a very industrial kitchen with the typical loft style. And then I found other pictures where people were doing more what I would consider something that's more me, is they were getting all kinds of industrial advertising and just filling because the walls are so big in a loft. I mean, you're talking about
Mhm.
20, 30-foot ceilings. People were just scaling the wall with all this amazing old advertising signage. And I thought, oh, yeah, that's really cool. That's me. But there's two different approaches to it.
And what becomes frustrating, and just as anyone listening to us, there's going to be different people with different opinions, and so it ends up being a case where you got to do what you like. And so there's going to be things like if you were really big into the minimalist and you can't imagine the clutter of having 15 things on your wall, like just like the buddy that I'm talking about, he needs to be comfortable in his own home. So if at some point we need to move that picture because to him it's no longer centered and he needs to center on this 20-foot wall. Okay, that's what we're going to do, because it doesn't matter what a design magazine says or what I
Mhm.
say or what I do. And sometimes because I listen to podcasts of interior designers and decorators and architects. I mean, I listen to some of those. Sometimes they talk about the trends. We joked about last night in the duo dive that technically my burgundy accent wall is absolutely passe and should not ever be considered. And if you're going to do an accent wall at all, it shouldn't be burgundy, because my God, why would anyone want a burgundy wall? I think my burgundy wall is freaking awesome. I'm going to get it repainted and it's going to be the same color. So it's like just you do what you want to do and then you decorate around it. And so it's you just can't say, oh, well, Martha Stewart said this or this podcast said that, because in some cases, like one of them is those big walls. There's one I listened to, and I won't say what it is because I'm about to make fun of them. But there's one that then they were talking about designing for loft spaces with those 20-foot and 30-foot ceilings, and they're like, oh no. You just, everything should be decorated at an 8-foot level so that you just have the line around the room of wherever wherever your door frames are, where the normal height would be. At some point, you're going to have a scalable size because you've got a door into the bedroom or whatever. So you're going to have something. They're like, you never design above that space. I'm like, okay, you are insane.
Yep,
Because
I've
if
heard
I've got
that.
a 30-foot wall, okay, I'm not going to hang a postage stamp up in the top 5 feet of it, but I'm going to find an amazing frieze. I'm going to find a sculpture. I'm going to find a sconce. I'm going to find something big that could get those guys to go up. So you're like, oh, look at that cool big. Holy crap, you've got 30-foot ceilings. Like, why would you design everything to keep you at eye level? But that's, the trend is to do one thing, and then you just got to do what you like.
And you
And that's
gotta
one
live
thing.
like
Yeah.
Vinny said, and you said it, it's your house, so you got to do what you like and what you love. And if it's quirky and different, and it doesn't matter. I mean, my Coca-Cola wall, I've talked about this before. Let me see if I can move the camera. This goes up. I mean, there is not much room between that 1930s, 40s piece to the top of the ceiling. And
Mhm.
if you go all the way down the wall, I don't think I can show this on the chat. Let's see which way I need to move. There's my Singer sewing machine from 1916. And then you can't see, but below the Singer sewing machine, I literally have more Coke trays. It goes floor to ceiling, my wall, and I think that's really cool. So I don't subscribe to what some of the decorators suggest. However, I like looking at decorator things just to get ideas and to see
Right.
what
And
is
see what you
popular.
like, what you don't like. And
Yep.
that's the other case. Like at some point, not that I'm going to be hiring any of these high-end designers that they've got on the interviews, but I'm fascinated by what some of them are saying and what they say to their clients. Like the number one thing that pops up a lot, and there is some variation, but the most common one is, I'm going to design, like, how do you design a space for kids? I design a space as if they don't have children. Their children do not need to, they do not need to eat on the sofa. They should not be carrying beverages through the living room. Blah, blah. I'm like, okay, you clearly don't have kids.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, and something like our daughter was raised like, you know, she was raised with breakable stuff all the time. Now we weren't stupid, but one of the things we taught our daughter very early on, one of the things she learned was non-negotiable. So like at the age of like 2, she knows the term non-negotiable. She didn't necessarily know what it meant, but if we said something and then said non-negotiable, she knew there was no arguing. And so that was for stuff like when we'd be walking through a parking lot, you know, she had to hold her hands. Like, okay, hold my hand, non-negotiable. And she would put up her hand and she'd walk with him because she knew, she didn't necessarily know what that term meant, but she knew when mommy or daddy said that, we were serious and there was no pulling the hand away. There was no lobbying for freedom. So we would have breakable stuff and we would teach her gentle touch. And so, you know, there were things that she broke and we made sure that, you know, we cleaned it up and she didn't harm herself or anything. But she would then know if she was in somebody else's house. We'd be like, okay, you know, when you're in that room, just gentle touch or don't touch. You know, she also knew the difference between the two. You can train kids just like you can train a dog. And the idea that, yes, you maybe don't want them to carry grape juice onto your white sofa. Well, maybe Madam or Mr. Designer, you shouldn't have given that family a white sofa. But you also don't
a dark sofa.
Yeah, but you also don't need to give them Naugahyde, you know, Goodwill fines because you need to have complete crap, you know, in your home because you have children, because boys are going to be boys and they're going to terrorize the house. No, you can find a balance. But it's fascinating when you hear these high-end homes that it's all being designed for a magazine cover. And sometimes that is not conducive to having kids.
Well, you know, I love Architectural Digest. I don't know if you follow them on YouTube, but they put out videos. And I like the ones primarily where they're going into famous people's homes or where designers' homes. And I love seeing what they have. And one of the homes they went into recently, or I came across the video recently, I should say, was a rapper. And gosh, I don't remember who it was. And I'm sorry, I'll look it up and share it to my stories. But the guy, he was very into minimalist style and very into that clean white. So you walk into his house and a huge mansion in the Hollywood Hills, everything is white. White couch, white chairs, white rugs. There wasn't a single pop of color. The only thing that was colored was they had a black skull wall sconce. And he loved it. He loved it. And that more power to him. But I thought, man, if I had to live in there, I would go stir crazy. I love color and I love pattern. And I just can't live without it, you know. And when you have kids, I was thinking back to that whole kid thing. Man, if you let some kids in there in just an hour, that would not be white anymore. It would be completely.
Good point. And at some point, like, even though I don't have children, any like young kids anymore, I still don't think I would want a white sofa because then that means I can't sit on the sofa and eat. I can't sit on the sofa and
I'm dirty too. Like, I mean, with food, you eat on the couch, like
absolutely,
stuff spills, you know.
So at some point, like, and so if you have that control or whatever, again, that's great. But you have to kind of know why you're doing it. If it's to follow the trends, there's nothing wrong with that. You want to follow the trends, and then in 5 years, you know, hire Chad again and let him redo your home because that's, you know, I think to a certain extent, that's the idea. We're going to say dark wood is very bad. You need to paint everything. And then 5 years later, like, oh no, you don't want white furniture. You need dark furniture. You know, it's built-in obsolescence is the key when you're dealing with design because you want to be able to rotate it out. But when I was looking, I've really struggled trying to do my kitchen. One, because during COVID, it's just very difficult to get appliances and equipment and people to do stuff. But looking for designers to help with my kitchen, every time I looked at their Instagram page, everything was white. There was a white kitchen with a white quartz countertop with white tile, and it was like just very, very beautiful, you know, very nicely done and very gradients. But I'm like, yeah, my kitchen cabinets are within like 6 inches of the edge of all of this. I can't have a white kitchen. It's going to look ridiculous. It's going to glow like a lighthouse, you know, next to all of this darkness. And so I was like, and I really struggled to find designers, even ones who say they specialize in antique and historic decor. They're still painting everything white. And I'm like, okay, I get that that's the trend, but I don't want a white kitchen. And I mean, there's plenty of other options out there. Just walk in Home Depot, they do things that are not white. But if you want to be on a cover of a magazine, it's white.
White, isn't it? I mean, my whole kitchen, when I moved into this apartment was white. They have some apartments apparently in the building. I've not seen it with my own eyes. I've just seen pictures where the bottom cabinets are dark and then the upper cabinets are light. Now, I've had these white cabinets now in my apartment, and I love my apartment. I'm very lucky to have a very large kitchen for a 1-bedroom apartment. It's kind of unheard of here. But I will say the white gets really dirty, and I'm constantly once a month on my hands and knees scrubbing the cabinets, keeping them clean. So if I had a choice, I would want dark wood cabinets, to be honest.
Yeah. And so mine is, I basically ended up having to basically do most of the design myself. Google and online designers are fantastic. I found some great backsplash tile that's cobalt blue because I wanted to match the cobalt that's in my stoneware. And it kind of built around that. Like, even people were like, why are you picking cabinets to match your backsplash? Most people are going to pick a backsplash to match the cabinets. Like, no. It's more important to have that blue. And then what can I use to go against it? But it was interesting because a lot of people, that is not the look, and they feel like that's not what you should do. And I'm like, I don't think there's a should. I need to enjoy this. And yeah, there might be some issue of resale, but I plan to be here for a while and I want to enjoy it while I'm here. And like, if I suddenly did an all white kitchen, I would, just like you, I'd hate it. I'd be worried about staining it. I'd be worried about like keeping it all clean. It's difficult.
And I have a pug that runs around, and it just, Louie, I love her, but she creates little messes wherever she goes. So there's always pug kisses all over my cabinets and stuff.
And like Sandy said, it is about the resale. Now, I will also say, and this is not the popular opinion, but I have owned, I think this is my 8th home. So, and one of the homes we were in for 14 years. So it's like I've moved around a lot. And all the realtors will tell us, oh, no, you got to paint all that white up. You got to paint. I'm like, I would not want to buy an all white house, because then the first thing I would need to do is paint it when I come in. And the best example of how, you just don't know is the house that we sold in when we lived in Maryland. It was before the housing bubble burst. Our daughter had a bedroom that was decorated as an under the sea theme. In all of the walls and the ceiling were painted a navy blue. It was not like a light sky blue. It was a dark blue. There was a 14-foot octopus on one wall. There were seahorses. There was seaweed growing out of the floor along you were in an aquarium, and that was exactly what we wanted. Like, our daughter was 4, it was perfect. And we had talked to 2 or 3 different realtors to see who we use. And every one of them were like, okay, this has got to go. We're like, okay, look, we don't want to cover it up because our daughter is already struggling with having to move. So let's let her be happy in her bedroom. And if somebody wants a painting credit, we'll give them $2,000 and they can paint it themselves. The people that bought the house paid over asking price and specifically said one of the reasons they were buying it was because of that painted room.
Oh, wow.
Our son, now they said it was for their son, which threw us a little bit, but whatever. They're like, our son loves fish. He fell in love with that room. And this was how we couldn't get this house out of our mind. So that was a very specific and rare exception, admittedly. But same house that had burgundy walls. It didn't have to be painted. We've never repainted a house for selling it. And we've always had some sort of color. Now, not orange, but you deal with it. But it's they want to make it easy, and people also, you don't want to you want to depersonalize your house, declutter your house. Like, okay, declutter is one thing, but taking all character out of your house, I disagree with that.
Because I think people need to go in and see that it's a home and what the possibilities of it could be. And if you feel like it's lived in and cozy and someone's had a life here, I think it makes you be able to see yourself in that home a little bit easier.
Give people credit that, yes, if you have a picture of your daughter over the mantle, that they realize that doesn't come with the house, and that they can replace that picture with their own daughter's picture or their wedding picture or whatever. It's still a picture over the mantle that's like, oh, that's a really nice scale. I'll have to remember that size looks good up there. It gives people a way of how to use the home, particularly when you get into weird floor plans. you want to be able to see like, okay, wait a minute, will this room hold a bed? And if you don't have a bed in there, then you got to see people like guessing, and then they may be unhappy. Where if like, okay, well, this is a twin bed and it's looking really small, this room's small, or hey, there's a king in here and I can still waltz around the floor. Like, okay, this room's huge. So it's like I would never want to be a realtor. Like, it's just
The weirdest thing that I ever came across in houses was my grandparents had a house in Savannah, and we'd go up there occasionally, not a lot, but they had it when I was younger, and we'd go into their kitchen, and the people that owned it before, they had a mural, and I mean, this was a large wall, probably about the size of this wall with all the Coke on it twice. So like multiply that wall twice. And they had a mural painted with their entire family on it in a cartoon caricature style. And it was huge, the whole wall. And they had toucans and birds. And I don't even remember what else was in there, but it made it very hard to sell that house with that mural because nobody wanted it. They didn't know what to do with it.
And it's finding that balance, because like a mural could be a little difficult, but like what Picasso Cat's talking about is cookie cutter houses. I mean, I was raised in a home that was built in like probably 67 or 68. And it was the definition of a tract home of ranch style homes. Our home was exactly the mirror image of the home next to us, which was a mirror image of the home next to them. And if you just drove down the street, every single house was the exact same house. So like, and not like now I was in a planned community that had a certain number of floor plans. And so you only had a certain number of houses, but then each one had a different, elevation, different color. Like, yes, that was a controlled cookie cutter, and it can be an issue, but this was like true definition of cookie cutter. Like, they were identical. What sold it was what people had done to individualize their house. So, my parents had put up, because, back in the day, but they put up paneling, and they put in hardwood floors instead of the laminates and like that kind of stuff that people were like, oh, okay. When they then looked at 5 houses that were all freaking identical, they remember, oh, wait, that was the one with the dark wood paneling. I liked that, or I didn't like that, or whatever. That it's like, in some cases, you want to be able to personalize it and then just hope your personalization matches somebody else's. Or you just say, you know what? No, we're not going to paint it, but we'll give you $2,000 off at closing. And those people will be perfectly happy with that paint color because they're going to pocket the $2,000 and never repaint.
That's very true. I like that my apartment painted my walls sort of off-white. It just is a great backdrop for all of the Coca-Cola stuff. I'm very fortunate with that color.
Yeah. All right. So we're closing in on like the 3-hour mark, which I had never anticipated going this long. So, and you were already yawning and you're still recovering from your illness. So I did not mean to keep you on so long. So
no, I enjoyed it, Patrick.
I will wrap up. The last thing I'm going to do before I wrap up, because I didn't show these, I found, this is embarrassing, but it happens. I found additional items from the Dachshund Rescue fundraiser. These are on eBay right now. They should have already gone live. These will end next week. One of them is this Lego porcelain beagle figurine. Absolutely adorable, perfect, pristine condition. Not a huge money maker, but I don't want to have as much of these on my live sales going forward. So he's just on as an auction starting at $10. So he's on there. I don't know how high he will go, but he's in beautiful, pristine condition. And I think beagles are popular, and he's a cutie. So he is on my eBay channel right now. That'll end next week. And then there's another lot that's up there. I had 2 boxers that got donated. So these are up for auction as well. This one is over 9 inches long. So this one is actually fairly large. This is an UNESCO Japan with the original.
I love that he has his sticker
on that. So he is in beautiful condition and just a gorgeous coloring of a boxer. And then this one is a little derpy. He's got a little side eye going on. He's like, I'm watching you. I'm watching you, Louie. What are you doing, Louie? I'm going to keep an eye on you.
Are you eating a girly candle again, Louie?
He happens to be a salt shaker. So he's still got his paper Japan label, and he does have his cork, but he does happen to be a shaker. So they're boxers. So I put them together in a lot, figuring if somebody owns a boxer, this would definitely be some attractive pieces, and they happen to be about the same coloring. So you can have like the mama boxer and the baby boxer. So those are also live. I think I started those at $20 because I think the big the big figurine's worth at least 20 by himself. So those are in auctions. All of that money will still go to Just One More Dachshund Rescue. So again, I'm trying to get all of these things closed out, reselling a couple of the items that people backed out of their original purchases at the fundraiser. Get all of that closed out so that we can cut the check at the end of December. And like I said, right now we're closing in on $4,500 that we raised for the rescue.
Wow.
So we raised $3,500 last year. Our goal was $5,000. We didn't quite hit that, but I think we're going to come in at possibly close to $4,500. So it was definitely worth it, and I know that Dawn really appreciates it. But those two lot. They got missed. My fault. It's all, it's just nothing I can do about it except sell them now. So so those are up there. I will be doing, again, if you missed it earlier, I'm swapping my live sale slot with Nancy from This Overstuffed House, because I'm now in rehearsals for a show. So starting Thursday, December 2nd, she will be on her channel at 8 p.m. Eastern, and I will take her slot at 11 p.m. Eastern. So I will be doing shorter sales for the next couple of months, because I'm not doing sales until 1 o'clock in the morning. So you can still find me in the sales. So I am going to try and finish out the Doxy stuff. I will list all of the items that we opened up for the Trusty Travelers. Those will go live next week. So they'll go live on the 2nd to end on the 9th. So I will talk about that next week. So what do you got coming up on your channel, Katie?
And Rebecca, before I answer that, she's got a question about the auction items. They are listed on your eBay store, which I believe is linked in the description box. Is that correct?
Yes, and I will put it. I'll make sure it's there. It's also in the about section. Just go to my eBay store. I don't have many things on my eBay store, and those two lots will be there.
Fantastic. So coming up for me, I'm very excited about the Friendsgiving Potluck, Vintage Friendsgiving Potluck that Jamie and I are hosting. It's a joint collaboration. Anybody can join in. It doesn't matter where in the world you are. You can whip up a fun dish. It can be something really yummy or really gross, and you can film a video, and all the videos will come out on Monday, this coming Monday, November 29th at 7 p.m. Eastern. The playlist is linked on my channel and on Jamie's channel. We both did a video explaining the collaboration. So that is really exciting, and I'm looking forward to that. And then Wednesday coming up, we have a duo dive, and I'm excited about that because if you all know Mrs. Santa Claus from Instagram, she will be on the duo dive talking vintage Christmas. So you do not want to miss that at 9:30. I'm so excited. I love her account. I follow her every day to see what new vintage, and she's got a big collection currently of oil cans, which I'm totally drooling over. So she is fabulous.
Excellent. And then, so that's the next duo dive. And as I mentioned earlier, I'll just a quick reminder. So on Sunday will be the next triptych. And if you're not familiar with the triptych, that is being rotated between Katie, Soul, Nate, and me. So it's my turn to host. So on Sunday, it'll be on my channel, this channel, 8 p.m. Eastern, and I will be telling the tale of Broadway and collecting Broadway memorabilia, including props, costumes, playbills, and window cards. So,
oh, that is going to be wonderful. And again, folks, stay tuned to my Instagram tomorrow. It is tomorrow. Yeah, it is record store day. So I will be going live from one of the record stores here and showing you. Hopefully I get some presses that I want. They're very limited. And so I'm going to be there extra early waiting in line, hopefully to get the record. So stay tuned for a little update on that.
And there's 2 Black Friday events going on that I know of from the reseller community. And I apologize if I missed more, but Catherine Young is doing her sale at 6 a.m. Crazy. A.m. Central Time, so 7 a.m. Eastern. She on Saturday, and she has a special discount code that she's offering. It will not be announced during the drop sale. You have to know it in advance. So if you join her pre-recorded sale on Saturday morning and enter ho ho ho, you will get 20% off your purchase. So keep that in mind. And then also Tim from Over the Years is having a Black Friday sale at 7 p.m. Eastern Friday night. And he is doing giveaways. He's got mystery boxes. He's doing offer ups. He's going to have a bunch of stuff going on. So he is Over the Years. He did his first live sale was on my channel, and he is now doing his own live sales. And so he's normally on Monday nights. So he's doing something special for Black Friday. So those are the ones that I know about. Oh, Tiger's doing something. Doing a sale with Vintage and Vino and Chrissy. Okay, that's at 11 a.m. Central. I think Tiger's in Central Time Zone. So,
yes,
Catherine is still here.
Arizona.
Ho, 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 Catherine, 20% off. So yeah, so assuming 11 a.m. is Central Time, so
Yes,
noon
he's in
Eastern.
Arizona.
Oh, he's Arizona. I thought he was in Texas. All right, so I'm not sure. I just want to make sure if anybody else was commenting that they had anything, I was going to at least pause. Oh, Tiger's Eastern, so it's 11
Oh,
a.m.
Eastern. Okay.
Eastern. Okay, thank you. Most of us did convert to just say Eastern just to keep it uniform, but I've noticed there are some pretty major resellers that don't do that. So I never want to assume. So 11 a.m. Eastern is Tiger's sale. So that's great.
And Catherine Young.
Yes. So Catherine Young, Cat Young Create is the name of her channel. Oh, that's Tiger. Okay. So yeah, so that's at 7 a.m. Eastern, 6 a.m. Central, because she is in Central Time. So yeah. And so ho 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 is her discount. Oh yeah, Mary she has her regular sales on Sundays. So I didn't even know Mary was here. Hi Mary. So she's 3 p.m. Eastern on Sunday. Oh, she's doing it as a pre-recorded sale. So she will have. So I don't know if anyone else is doing something special for Black Friday.
I know that Sarah at the Traveling Button is having an all-day Black Friday marathon sale with all different resellers. And I think Daniel at Tacky Is Me from our community is joining that. And there might be a few others. So stay tuned for that on Instagram. But I think it's going to be like an all-day thing.
Excellent. And then also starting in 1 minute, I don't normally go on this long. So in 1 minute, Nancy, she is not having her sale tonight. She's doing a chat. So she's the one that I'm swapping with. So tonight will be her last 11 p.m. slot. She said she's just going to be on for a chat. So hop on over. We're going to sign off now. Hop on over to This Overstuffed House, all one word. You'll find Nancy's. Tell her we sent you over there, and you can continue the chat with a new group of friends. So thanks everybody for hanging out, all the orphans and anybody else who came in. Thank you so much, Katie. Thank you, Louie.
Oh, absolutely.
Louie's resting comfortably now.
Yeah, finally she's asleep.
There you go. Perfect. And that's it for the night. So happy Thanksgiving to everyone. Enjoy the rest of, if you have it as a holiday weekend, enjoy the rest of your holiday weekend. And thanks for putting your trust in Trusty Huckster. Bye, everybody.
Bye, friends.